Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are here for yet another round of the Six Nations. Round 3 is going to be up on us here. Scotland taking on France in what should be a very exciting contest at Murrayfield for this one. And I did mention it a little bit earlier on in the day. The best place for Scotland to be able to beat France is in front of their home crowd at Murrayfield. So hopefully it does end up going smoothly for them. But France are going to be a very tough opposition to have. My voice is almost disappearing, but hopefully it does last throughout this one. And also we have got one more match later on tonight, and that is going to be between England and Wales. But I hope you guys are all doing well. We have got Mahesh here, Ollie, Johan, Katie, Nov Mum is here as well. And currently we have got there, good morning, hoping I can get my eyes open. Might need some matchsticks, says Nov Mum. Yeah, hopefully this game is going to be full of action. Does keep us all wide awake and hey howdy, hey y'all. And I hope you're all well. And also good thing, Sunday is my sleep-in day. And my husband is the one who has to deal with our son. There's no mum. I guess if that is the case, you do get yourself a nice little sleep. And I assume you're not watching the cricket early morning, more than likely, which is probably fair enough. But currently, we'll go through the starting lineup and reserves for both of these two sides in a very short moment. But first of all, we will look through how the table is sitting currently in the Six Nations. And it is going to be as follows. France in first, sitting on 9 points. The only team so far in the first two rounds to be able to get 2 from 2. They beat Ireland, and then they also ended up having a good win in that first round over Italy. England in second, Ireland in third, and then Scotland sitting on 5. So if Scotland win this game, they could actually end up possibly getting themselves towards second place, I would say. I think France will still be a little bit ahead of them due to that points differential. Wales in fourth, but they were able to get their win over England. No, sorry, not England. It was actually Scotland last week that they were able to beat, and then Italy sitting at the bottom of the bunch, still hoping to one day get themselves a point in the Six Nations. These are the games that we have got in a couple weeks' time as well. Should mention, come on, Scotland in there, says Bob Jobs. And also we have got there, hey, Hamish, hope you and your voice are well. And there says Katie, it sounds rough, but it's feeling all right. Like the voice isn't gone, or the voice is gone, but the throat is not. The throat is absolutely fine. I just sound like I am possibly half asleep. I don't know. What does this sound like? What does my voice sound like? I know that someone described it as it sounds like I smoke about 3 packs a day, but that's not the case. And hopefully it will end up kind of revitalizing itself as we keep on talking. I haven't been talking for the last couple of hours. So I think that might be one of the big problems for myself. But those other fixtures that we have got coming up, I should say. But now looking through at the lineup for Scotland, the home side, they've got a few players out due to injury, but overall they have still got a very strong side. Pierre Gorman, also Stuart McAnally and Xander Ferguson, they are going to be the front row. Sam Skinner and Grant Gilchrist will make up the locking duo that will be taking on the strong French locking duo, which we will get to in a short moment. Nick Hanning, Rory Darge going to get the opportunity to start this match, and then Magnus Bradbury, no sign of Hamish Watson. That is due to injury. He is going to be out of there. Also, no sign of Johnny Gray, another player who is out, and Rory Sutherland, another one that they have lost due to injury, Scotland. So they're on thin ice, I guess you could say, in terms of some of those forward positions, but they have been able to still find some players for this matchup. Ali Price and Finn Russell as the 9-10 combo. Duan van der Merwe at 11. Sione Tuipulotu and Chris Harris are the 12 and 13 for the inside centre. And outside centre, Darcy Graham at right wing. And then Stuart Hogg going to be slotting in at fullback for this matchup as well. We have also got there, well, the chat poll is dead even. And my head says France, but my heart says Scotland. Hello, everyone, says Mike. And yeah, it's a tricky one, because if this game, like I mentioned at the start, if this game wasn't at Murrayfield, I would say France. But because it's at Murrayfield, there's that little tiny bit of something in the back of my head saying Scotland have done it before at Murrayfield. They could do it again. We just got to remember last year's Six Nations with Scotland were able to beat the French in the final matchup. And I want both teams to score 0 today so that Ireland can advance. Diabolical laughing, says Katie. I mean, it would certainly be an interesting fixture. We did have 0-0 after the 80 minutes. The thing is, though, with these two sides, if it's 0-0, it's either that the defence is just absolutely outstanding, or it is possibly underwater at Murrayfield, which I don't believe is the case. I think it's supposed to be a relatively nice day there. Hopefully that will be the way that it does stay throughout this match. But now looking through at the French lineup, the side that are away from home, who want to keep their hopes of the clean sweep alive for the Six Nations. Cyril Bay, Julio Mochon, and Uni Antonio will be the front row. Cameron Vauquie and Paul Willems are two very talented players in the locking duo. And I believe that this game could be won at line-out time, because both sides, I mean, the more line-out turnovers you can get for yourself, the better, because when you've got these big forwards and the loose forward trio, such as Cruz, Geelong, and Aldred, all will be looking to try and drive their way forward. Antoine Dupont will be starting at 9 with Romain Intermac at number 10. Mofana actually gets to start out on the left wing, no Villiers for this match, and I believe that is also due to injury. So France have got their fair share of their own injuries coming in for this matchup. Jonathan Dante and Galfiku as the midfield, and then Damien Pinot, the try-scoring machine at the moment for France, and then it will be Melvin Jaminet, who will be at number 15 for this game. And this is going to be a very exciting one. I am looking forward to it. And also England versus France, England versus Wales a little bit later on. Doesn't get much better than that. Looking through at the benches quickly. George Turner, Ollie Kebble, and WP now will be the front row replacements for Scotland. Jamie Hodgson and Andy Christie, followed by Ben White, Blair Kinghorn, and Mark Bennett. As there are other options. France got Pietro Malvaca, Jean-Baptiste Grue, Demba Bamba, Romain Taufafanua. It is going to be Thibaut Flemont, Dylan Creton, and Maxime Luku, and Thomas Ramos as the other option there for them. I've got a gut-sinking feeling that someone is going to score a terrible injury. Says Katie, have you got a prediction of who it's going to be? I remember that game for the Blues. I still feel bad about it to this day. I was like, before the match, for some reason, I think Dalton Papali'i is going to get injured in this game. And about halfway through, knee injury played up, and he was out for a little while after that. And I felt so bad. I felt like I was the reason that he got injured. All right. But also, this will be close. But I'm saying Scotland to win, says Bob Jobs, liking it, liking the underdog story. Yeah, that's the thing. Even though they're up against France, who are undefeated in the Six Nations at this point in time, they're still only about $2.90 underdogs, which is actually pretty good, because the Hurricanes, they were more than that up against the Blues. But it's a dry afternoon, 9 degrees Celsius, 20 miles per hour of wind, looking like it's going to be maybe a little bit breezy, but should be nice overall. The sun is out. That man's belly is out at the moment, and he is raring to go. And Creton, what a name. France are unbelievable. There says it was Mike. And also, yeah, if Scotland is at home, it's going to be Scotland, same as when France spanked Ireland at home. I was uploading my Force versus Rebels review, still annoying. Well, still annoyed, says Xavier. It wasn't the performance I saw from the Rebels that I thought we were going to get to see. I thought it was going to be a very close game. They came in as betting even. Like, it seemed like it was going to be a lot closer. So, yeah, I assume that video won't be praising them too much. And, yeah, I think it's going to be proper a hooker. And there says Katie Dixon, for who is going to be getting injured. And I guess for France at this stage, I mean, the thing is, they've got some good depth. So if they lose a hooker or a prop, they probably can replace them just like that. Whereas for Scotland, they're starting to get a little bit thinner, but they've still got a very good side, and they will continue to fight here. But this is going to be the first game around 3 of the Six Nations. Both of these sides have got talent. They've got a lot of potential to be able to go on and go far in this competition. But looking through at the previous fixtures for Scotland, you'll notice something about their last 2 games. They like that scoreline. Unfortunately, they were only one of them in their favour, which was that first game where they were able to defeat England. Wales were then able to get the win over Scotland. Gave them a weird, I guess you could say, taste of their own medicine for that score. It's weird how coincidental it is. So theoretically, Scotland win this game 20 points to 17, if it's anything like the rest of them. But then it is actually Italy in their next fixture, and then after that, they will be taking on the Irish. Then looking through it, France had a great start to the Six Nations, had a close game with Ireland in their next fixture, but still were able to get themselves a 6-point win, which is why Ireland got themselves the bonus point as well, because they were within the 7, and that is all you need in the Six Nations. Also, you need 4 tries for yourself, no matter what the situation is with how many the other teams score. You get yourself the 4, you get yourself the bonus point, and that is what both of these sides will be aiming for in this contest. And yeah, that's neat and tidy, isn't it? And there says Katie Dixon, and also if you stand by and never come back, stand by your Ukraine in there. Exactly, of course, with what is going on at the moment. There is a Scottish man who looks very happy at the moment, and the bagpipes are about to be playing, which is how you know this game between Scotland and also France is about to get underway. I see the Stormers going all right against Connacht, for anyone wondering about that game. 15 points to 7 for the Stormers in favour of themselves. But currently, Dupont, he will be concentrated on getting that clean sweep. There's a name for it as well. And I missed the Canes game. Who won? Says Katie, are you sure you want to know, or would you prefer to be able to watch the replay? Because I would recommend the replay. It was a great game of rugby. It was so exciting. And Princess Anne is at the game. Is that who it was? See, I had no idea. I was just like, she looks like they're showing her because she's probably important. But I had no idea who it was. But now I know Princess Anne. Princess of Scotland, I assume. Probably quite hard to get princess in the name, such as Prince as well, unless you are, of course, either related to the royal family or a singer. And watch the highlights, it's worth it. And there says Mike, although if you have got access to the full game, go the game before the highlights, because like it's a good one. It's a good game. I got excited during it. I was very excited. And then we watched the game between the Rebels and the Western Force, and it wasn't as even as we thought it would be, but I was still pretty much buzzing after that last game. I still got a smile at the moment. I don't know if I'm able to find the replay. I refuse to give Rugby Pass a dime, but I might be able to find it on YouTube in a day or so, says Katie. To be fair, I've got you on Discord. We'll just watch it together afterwards, because I think they'll have the replay on Sky here. And also, we're going to please download the current time in New Zealand. I can't believe my eyes. This is your 4th or 5th stream. You are full of energy when it comes to rugby. Have you sleep properly? So pretty much it's 3:12 a.m. here in New Zealand. I have not slept. I have eaten. I had some pizza. It was nice. But now I'm ready to go for another live stream. I'm smiling too much at the moment. I don't know what's happened to my face. It's stuck in this picture. Queen Elizabeth's daughter, says Nov Mum there. I see. Okay. Don't really know my royals that well. I can tell you the flag, and I love it, Kiwi lads. And there says Katie Dixon. I mean, my eyes might be half closed, but it's still worth a crack watching that game. But currently now, the national anthem of, did they say France or Scotland? It's France. I heard the da-da-da-da, and then that was exactly what I needed to hear to know who it was for this matchup. But we are just going to be making sure we're running smoothly. I need to stop smiling because my face is going to get tired eventually if I keep on going the way that I am. But for some reason, I'm just in a good mood. We've had plenty of rugby today. It's been a good weekend overall. We've had the cricket. The New Zealanders aren't going that great in the cricket, but still plenty to smile about in the world of rugby. But currently, France singing their national anthem here. Yui Antonio, big man, and he is certainly going to be one to watch out for throughout this game in the front row. Hopefully, he's not the injury that we were talking about a little bit earlier on. Looking through at this lineup once again, what I will do is I will go like this, and I will go like this. There we go. That is the Scottish starting lineup. Schooman, McAnally, and Ferguson going to be the front row. Skinner and Gilchrist as 4-5. Darsh, Bradbury, and Watson. That's a lie. Watson's not there. Instead, it is going to be actually Nick Henning. I didn't realize that was wrong until I looked at it just then. Ali Price and Finn Russell as the 19 combo. Sione Tuipulotu, Chris Harris, Duan Whanamerva, Darcy Graham, and Stuart Hogg is the rest of the starting lineup. And we can hear the Scottish national anthem at this moment now. Cyril Bay, Julio Mochon, and Antonio will be the front row. Walkie and Willemse as 4-5. Cruz, also Geelong and Aldred at number 8. Dupont, Intermac, Dante Fiku, Pinot, and Mofana with Jaminia slotting in as the fullback for this game. And then these are the benches that we have got there. And we have also got there, another day, another day I can wait, says Katie, although I will actually still be awake today because I have got the 11 a.m. live stream. My dedication to cricket I played, but watching is like pulling teeth for me, says Mike. And remember, to England fan Michael Hooper chose Australia of your country, you Poms. There says Xavier. Did Michael Hooper have the option of playing for England? I don't actually know that. So that is a stat that I did not know. And Hamish, it is 3:12 in the night. When you do live commentary, have your mama and dad not get disturbed? Do not get disturbed from your voice. Have you told them, or have they not told you to stop sometimes? Not really, because we're pretty lucky in the layout of the house. Pretty much where I am is the furthest possible room away from their room type thing, if that makes sense. So pretty much I can get away with, I wouldn't say yelling, but I can talk relatively loudly. They can't hear me because I've got the door closed to the lounge, and then we've got an L-shaped hallway, and their room is right at the end of that hallway. Michael Hooper's dad is from England. He could have played for England. So that's something I did not know. He chose the Aussies, and he is one of the standouts. I saw that video. You said Michael Hooper was you go. Certainly a very talented player for the Australians. But now we are ready to go at Murrayfield. This game, round 3 of the Six Nations, about to get underway. And whoever wins this game arguably keeps himself in the running for the Six Nations. I say that hesitantly because if France win, you would say more than likely the clean sweep would still be on for them. If they do end up losing to Scotland, though, that opens up the door for Ireland. It opens up the door for Scotland. It opens up the door for England, Wales, and also Italy are probably not quite in there. And hey, amigo, got my Wi-Fi in the coconut tree with a few cold San Miguel's. And go, bra. And there says Aaron, welcome in and come on Ireland. And there says Oliver, and has anyone seen Jarbo lately? He hasn't been in a rugby game in ages. It seems, says Katie Dixon. Hopefully he's not in a prison cell somewhere, but it probably wouldn't surprise me, depending on where he's decided to try and kind of invade the pitch. Like, because that's the thing, depending on the country that he tries to do it in, he could be in a cell somewhere in like India or Abu Dhabi at this stage if he's done one of the cricket ones and get himself into some big trouble. But currently it takes about 25 people to move a Scottish flag. That's how you know you got a big one. Sounds like a weird sentence, but now at this stage we are ready to go for this game. We do see the late news that it was actually Darge who's going to be playing at 7, Nick Hanning at number 6, and that is because of the injury of Hamish Watson. I know he's probably in prison in there, says Katie Dixon. Gregory Aldred at number 8. He's going to be having a battle with Magnus Bradbury in this one, but nonetheless, we will go like this. We'll get our thingy in the right place. No, it's not behaving. One moment. There we get. No, doesn't want it. No, stop it. Go there. No, it doesn't. Okay, it's not going to go right over for some reason, but it's still out in front of me. Going to be Carl Dixon. Katie, is he your brother? No, he's from England. Never mind. It could still be. Family and whatnot. It also wants the game after this one. It is going to be England versus Wales, but the kickoff is upon us now. And this game of the Six Nations round 3 is underway. Kicked off on the full by France. Not the start to the match that anyone would have been expecting for that one. But Romain Intermac gets it too far for that one. And also he's my brother for real as well, says Katie Dixon. And Carl Dixon. I feel like Carl and Katie is a good mixture of sibling names. Like it just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? If you had a third sister, maybe you call her Carla Dixon. It's another name, Kate Dixon. Your name's almost Katie. Well, your name is Katie. Slightly close to Kate. We're currently 38 seconds into this game, and we're going to scrum on the halfway line because of a big mistake from Romain Intermac. With this game now underway, he was separated at birth in there. I wonder how much of an English accent. It looks like he spends a lot of time in the gym, this referee, and also, well, I mean, for Scotland in there, or Omen for Scotland, says it was from Mike, and also Cara Dixon. And the third sister could be, yeah, Cara is another name. It's hard to think of names sometimes, isn't it? What's the name that starts with K that's not Kate or Katie? That's a female's name. Catherine? Kathy Dixon. Is that your mum's name, Kathy? No, Kate. Oh, no, I've confused myself now. Kathy Dixon sounds like a cartoon character from like Family Guy. I don't know where my brain's going. We've got a scrum reset at the moment here, a minute and a half into this one. And currently now putting the ball in there, Ali Price. Kylie, that's another name. Kim is another one also. Now passing it off the back, Ali Price. They're trying to use that same set play that we saw from the Crusaders, although that one's been charged down. Jonathan Dunty. Christina is my mother's name. That is a weird coincidence. Is it actually? Because if it is, that is like kind of amazing. Currently 2 minutes in, Jonathan Dante gets it slightly wrong. Who was the TMO? Says Oliver, one moment. I will quickly rewind just a little bit so we can see exactly who it was. Where's the name? I can see Aldred, one moment. Still showing Aldred. They're going to show us the referee in a second. I've just rewinded a little bit so I can see who it is while we are waiting for that next one. Right, the referee in charge of this one, it was Carl Dixon, Luke Pearce, Tom Foley is the TMO from England, who they have gone with, and then also Chris Busby, is going to be the other man who is the assistant referee. And I just realized, you don't know my real name. It says Novmum. Is your name Kathy? Have we got a Kathy in the chat maybe? Is you Kathy? That's not how you use sentences. At the moment, Gregor tells in charge of that one. And yes, my mum, her brother, my uncle, and my sister, my aunt, all have names that start with K. And there says Katie. So that's kind of like a cool coincidence. Unless it was on purpose, maybe. Could be on purpose. You never know. Currently, we have got another scrum reset on the halfway line. We've had quite a few of them in a row here, this current point in time. And there's going to be a free kick to France for, I believe, Scotland went a tad too early there, and it has ended up rewarding them with the free kick. And some guys actually streaming this game on YouTube, full game footage and everything, says Xavier. So that is very useful. I guess I'm going to have a look. I guess it depends on, like, I guess YouTube sometimes are a bit slow with copyright. And it always makes you think, like, what if I was to do that? I'll probably get taken down straight away, more than likely, unfortunately. Is it in certain regions of the world that you're allowed to watch it, possibly? Xavier, do let me know. Currently now it will be Agalfi in charge of the French side. He's got his headgear on as if he was going up in a helicopter, but instead he's just going to be coaching the the French team for this matchup. Ball being fed in nicely in RP. Sock puppet account into there, but now going back nicely. That Galfiku, it's not a common name, but it's not unusual. And there it says Novman, great run forward from France. So they continue to try and build a few phases. Dupont now goes back. Romain Intermac going for the cross kick. So it seems they're going to be elusive in the way that they attack straight into the hands of Pinot. Offloading on the outside now. And it will be, I believe that will be Crew, who is continuing to build the attack for France. Gregory Aldred in the midfield tackled. Well, Dupont now quick ball recycled out to Jonathan Dante. Continuing to make his way forward here. Well, France going to the short side, getting themselves in a little bit of trouble, though, by the looks of it. And also we've got there in there from Adara. Welcome into the live stream, mate. Hope you are doing well. Currently now going to be passing it back across once again. Wide ball from Scotland. Now have the ball in hand. And it looks like Sione Tuipulotu. He's actually going to be starting this match. I know it's only been 5 minutes, but I'm honestly shocked no one has scored or is bleeding from the head yet. And what's up, Seamus? And there says, Colin, welcome in. And what camera do you use for YouTube live stream footage? The stream quality is full HD, so good. Says Coding. So I have got myself it's called, what's it called? It's called a Logitech 922, C922, I think it is. And also give you a clue, it starts with a J. Is it Janet? Janice, that's not a name. That's like Denise and Janet combined. Is it Janet? Probably not Janet. She said Janet as well, so it could be Janet. Who knows? Currently now, it will be France just straight out in front, and they will have a good opportunity to try and convert this one, give them some extra points on the board. And it is going to be Jamanier. Now, they do have Intermac as a great kicking option, but they don't seem to really use him. Overall, it seems to be better that they do just go with a possibility of Jamanier. And also, we are sharing a brain Amish in there, and Jamie in there. Says Xavier, could be Jamie. Jamie's a good option. Is it Jamie? That's missed. That's missed from Jamanier. He doesn't normally miss anything. That guy thinks it's gone over. He hasn't realized. I think the guy in front of him has just said it's missed. And also we have got there my friend Tara, named her daughter Jezebel. I love that name. Jezebel. Sounds fancy, doesn't it? That one missed for Jamanier. Not something we are used to seeing from that man, as experienced and as, I guess you could say, like just clinical as him. Always ends up getting them over no matter the distance. Kicked him behind now from Stuart Hogg with the 22 dropout. And wow, he missed. Says Katie, yeah, certainly not what you expect to see from Jamanier. And I feel like Intermac would have got that one over. Sounds brutal to say, doesn't it? But now Stuart Hogg, be 30 metres out, kicking it in behind, looking for the 50-22 straight down. And it's on for Scotland in there. And also Jezebel, Harriet, or Harlot in the word in there. And also most old woman name is Barbara. Yes. Xavier Brown kicked him behind now. So good Jay's taken nicely by Dupont now. Back in his skill and pace. Running straight through everyone. Antoine Dupont now in a very good position, trying to link up with someone, but he hasn't quite been able to do so. Still bouncing out of the tackle. Dupont has just made about 80 metres. Now off to it is Cyril Bay. Really only 15 metres out now for France. They're on the front foot offload. And Paul Valimza scores the try. And that is an absolutely outstanding play from France. That's what they've got to deal with here for Scotland. They're going to have full length attacks from them, and that was absolutely outstanding work from the youngster Dupont. And Paul Valimza has been able to score himself the try. We're going to quickly write his name down. I want to make sure that I spell it correctly. Valimza, there we go. But he has been able to score the try in the 7th minute. Brilliant work from Dupont. Never panicked at all. Great composure. Just kept on going and going and try. Dupont is good at it. And my name is 7 letters in there. Oh, I was going to say Jackie, but you've ruined that for me because that's only 6 or 4. No, not 4. That would be Jack. And also, we have got, I wonder how well France would do if Dupont wasn't there. It's a good question. Like, that's the thing. Luku doesn't get any game time normally other than when Dupont gets a little bit tired. That's when he goes in and no letters are repeated. Geez, this is like a brain teaser, isn't it? And good try. How easy was that? Says Xavier, far too easy. But Scotland, that will be quite a disappointing factor for them. That one's gone over there. And also in there, and Jolino has got the double up. And also, we have got their halfback. You always have to be on the move, says Xavier. Exactly right. Are you looking? I know that you mentioned about how at your new club they might look at trying to make you halfback. Are you keen to become a halfback, or do you prefer playing in that kind of loose forward trio? So I guess more of the question, do you want to be a Michael Hooper or do you want to be a Nick White? Actually, no, we won't go Nick White. I feel like that's not the best example. Do you want to be a Dupont or do you want to be a Michael Hooper? That's going to be nicely taken by Darcy Graham. I think he's really banged the hip hard, though. Skurman now sitting inside of the 22, an actor with the same name was on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Okay, someone who's watched that show is going to have to help us out because I do not know who was on that show other than Will Smith. Literally only man that I know. Offside advantage now to Scotland. Sitting 20 metres out. Joe McAnally getting driven backwards in a brilliant tackle by the try scorer Valimza. It was Valimza who scored the try, wasn't it? I believe. Or was it Cruz? No, it was Valimza, I believe, I want to say. And also, France will win the next World Cup, or Rugby World Cup. I'm an All Blacks fan, but in the SSing Cup, yeah, they've got a very good side at the moment, France, and a lot of young talent coming through the ranks, and that is a tough decision to Dupont or Hooper. And Hooper, obviously, but I won't complain being a halfback if it means I'm in the starting lineup, says Xavier. That is true. Be a good opportunity for you. Try and get some more minutes under the belt. They're taking on the 3 points here for Scotland. They've decided that that is the better way of doing it at this point in time, rather than going for the aggressive 3. But Darcy Graham, he lands very hard on the hip, and I believe that's why he stayed down. Jennifer, that's a... Wait, no, it's got 2 E's, though. Oh, I thought that was it. I thought that was the name, but then I realized it's got an E in it, and then it's got another E in it. This is hard. This is a hard one to think of. Jemima. No, that's got two. Jasmine. It will be Jasmine. It's got to be Jasmine, doesn't it? That's the one, says Katie. That's gone straight over the middle. And now the score going to be Scotland sitting on 3 and France sitting on 7. They were very late awarding that 2 points for the conversion. And bingo, says Novum there. And also, how many World Cup finals have France lost? Is it the most? I think it's right up there, but on home soil, perhaps they can get themselves their World Cup that they will be desiring. I know that the only Northern Hemisphere side to win a World Cup is England at this point in time. France would love to be able to add their name. And if not France, maybe someone along the lines of Ireland. Imagine Scotland winning the World Cup. Wouldn't that be outstanding for the Scottish? Now it's going to be a good kick from Jamanier, 50-22. Classy there from Scotland. Or sorry, from France, in fact, it was for Jamanier. I don't believe it was taken back at all, and that is a brilliant 50-22. Just too much space in behind for Scotland, which does mean that Jamanier, with the precision that man normally has, is a gorgeous name. Now, I almost read that as George's name. And also, I imagine Italy win the World Cup, they would be paying millions, or not millions, but they would be paying a fair few dollars to be able to go on and win the World Cup. Like probably $150, I'd like to say, maybe even more than that. But now throwing in Hoodie and Marchand, goes straight to Cameron Waki. I don't think you can penalise Scotland for that. They've actually given away the advantage, though. He took a long time to get down, so I think that is why they went underneath. Now it is going to be an offloader back. Brilliant backline movement. Out to Damien Benoit, finishing for the corner. Offload on the inside. Now off to Cyril Bay. Another offload, putting it down. And that's another try for France. And this time it's Mofana who has been able to score it. And they are on fire at the moment at Murrayfield. The Scottish, or the French, sorry. I keep on saying they're both wearing blue. Well, they normally do. It's confusing me. But that is going to be the try for Mofana. Only the 12th minute now, they have been able to add a second try to the total. This is very good work from France. At this point in time, they had the penalty advantage originally from the rolling maul, and then they just continued to use that backline, linking up nicely. Oh my God, I can't believe that just happened. They got so much done in that zero space, says Katie Dixon. Yeah, Just very, very brilliantly done. Cyril Bay manages to find the offload off to Mofana. Well, France are unbelievable. And there says Mike, they certainly are. And currently Scotland, they're going to need some nice tries. And it's early days, Hamish, but I told you France would flog Scotland. Scotland missing too many players. And to keep it close, 14 plus for France, says Jack. But they're just showing Mofana. He just kind of broke through the last line of defence, I would say, a little bit too easily. And do they practice in a closet? Says Katie Dixon there. Yeah, zero space out there for France when they did get close to the touchline. But the fact that they've got someone like a Cyril Bay, supposed to be a loose head prop who can still run down the wing and offload, Jamanier misses. Okay, he's not liking Murrayfield conditions at the moment, Jamanier, because that is 2 so far that he has actually ended up missing for himself. But currently the score sits 12 points for France and 3 to Scotland. Scotland need to try and change this momentum, as yes, they got the 3, but then straight away France go on and get themselves the 7. And that was all from that 50-22, the extra pressure that created lead to some more points for the French. Now into Matt kicking that one downfield. Did that hit the arm of Scottish player? I believe it did. No, it didn't. Oh, that wasn't the best kick from Intermac. I thought he kicked it extremely low and it actually hit the Scottish player's forearm, but it must have just missed him. Oh, no, it did hit him because they have just changed the decision and said that it's going to be a France line out. Never mind, and Cyril Bay and Tyke Furlong have those stick boy move fast powers in there. And Waki is a back rower, turn lock. Yeah, he can play anywhere at this stage in the fullback. You put him on the wing and he'd probably go all right. He wouldn't be as quick, some of those wingers, but when he gets going, the pistons of his legs, always hard to stop. Taken nicely by Valimza. France have this one inside of their 22, and this time they will be looking for a better clearance than the last one from Intermac, and I believe Dupont stepping up and saying, I will be taking on this one, thank you very much. But it's a long, and it does go into touch. It's an awkward bouncing one, and because of it now, it does mean that 45 metres out from the French line, Scotland will have the line out. I'm hoping my voice does last throughout this whole match. So far, it's not doing too bad. Until I jinx it by saying it's not doing too bad, probably for the later stages, but hopefully it does end up lasting throughout this whole match. But anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We have got plenty of action that will be coming in the near future. It's nicely done here by Scotland on the halfway line. Russell with the short ball. And like I mentioned, they're missing a few of their key players. Gray, Ritchie, all that smacked someone in the face. He still managed to hang on to it, Darcy Graham. That's great reflexes from the right winger. And I was wearing France socks earlier. I feel like I contributed to this. I would say so. I mean, I'm wearing blue pants, although at least yours are logoed towards France rather than just my pants that are blue. I actually bought some new pants that are not blue. I don't know why you guys would care about that statement, but now Pierre Schumann, they got a little bit high, I think it was, from all Russell's dropped it forward. Not what he would have been after, and I'm sorry, and there says Katie Dixon. And also, did you see those people in Wellington wearing tinfoil hats? I did not, but someone mentioned it a little bit earlier on. And I have no idea what is going on in our country or anywhere else in the world, to be fair. I feel like I'm in that rugby world of like, I know rugby news, don't know world news though. I don't know. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I feel like it's a bad thing because I don't know too much about the outside world, but it's a good thing as well because I don't find out about all of the like bad stuff going on. But then I also don't find out about the good stuff. Unless it's rugby related, then I do find out about it. Although at the moment, any rugby news is just like, hey, this player, this player, this player, this player, and this player are all injured. And it's like, gotta love it. But currently, so far, Scotland, they've had less carries, less gain line success. Now this ball going to be put in by Dupont. He waits till that front row goes down. And also knowing too much about the outside word is bad for your health sometimes, Hamish. And there says Katie Dixon, and also my teenager laughed. Says Novmum in Scotland, number 10. Could be a Rebels player after that knock on. Is your teenager still up at this stage, Novmum? That's an impressive effort from a teenager. Like, anytime I tried to do an all-nighter as a teenager, I get to 12 and I was like, I might just sleep. Sleeping seems like a good option here. Like, the only time I've successfully finished an all-nighter in my teenage years was when I was with the lads, George, Daniel, Isaac. We were up at a hut that Daniel has, and we just pretty much sat there all night. They were pretty much drinking flat out. I had to drive home the next day, so I couldn't. So I just watched them all drink. I was like, no, he has gone to bed. And there's Novmum. That one's gone up now. And this guy going to be chasing it. And that's going to be bouncing awkwardly, actually finding the turf, which is something you don't really want for a kick. And also maybe call you Jasmine in the chat, says Katie Dixon. Or does she prefer Novmum? I realize I know what Novmum means, and I feel like I am happy about it because I feel like I've got the inside knowledge. Dante now on the outside to Mofana. Now going down the wing, Darcy Graham just getting bumped off. And Mofana is a dangerous individual. Like the fact that they switch him in for Villiers and they still have danger down that wing is always very dangerous. I'm 15 and I'm up, says Xavier. So yeah, you've got more stamina than I had as a teenager. That is for sure. Now going back. It's nicely done by Scotland. Stuart McAnally has got it. And now currently sitting 43 metres out. Ali Price goes back to Finn Russell. Looked like he was going to be kicking it to sides against it in the end now. It'll be an attacking run. Good run forward from Nick Hanning. Price goes back. Russell now into the midfield. It's actually going to be Ferguson who has got that one. Price goes back. Russell now to Tuipalotu. Not quite able to skip through. It's a penalty to France. It's our Big Night of Streaming All Nighter, says Danny Lewis. It is indeed. This is our 4th live stream of the day. We've got another live stream coming a little bit later on, and it is going to be England versus Wales, followed by the cricket that we are going to be doing a little bit of, and it will pretty much be our cricket live streams will be a test. It will be how long does Hamish last in cricket before he falls asleep on his desk. That's going to be the game. We're taking bets. Anyone who thinks I'll make it to the 3rd session, I appreciate the fact that you guys are backing me. And also enough mamas because my kids were both born in November. Yeah, that was it, wasn't it? I feel like that's the thing. You and my mum get along quite well. And it's quite cool because like she always, like at the very start of doing the live streams, I think it was actually a rugby one we did. And like now that we do a few of the cricket ones and we get like a little bit more time to chat to you guys as well, it's just awesome, like the kind of community side of it. Like for a start, I thought it was going to be like real rough, like because sometimes we get people who like just yell at me in the chat, not really yell but just get angry, and then like now they seem to be all right overall. It's going to be a rolling maul here for France. Breaking off the back, Cyril Bay, or in fact it was Hoodie Marchand getting that one slightly wrong, and it's a knock on now, and Scotland will have the Scrumpy World Cup, some birthdays, fun times in there, and got your Red Bull ready. I've never drunk a Red Bull in my life, believe it or not. And I feel like that's very hard to believe because of how hyper I am, seeing as it is currently 3:38 a.m. But never had a Red Bull, never had a coffee either. Weird. And also, I can't see team news for Brave versus Toulon tonight. Can you check Toulon's team? Please tell me how it looks, says Jack. I will give it a look. And also, hi from Wales, says Ben. Welcome into the live stream. Who you backing in that later game, Wales or England? And if you're backing Wales, which I assume you will be, how many are they winning by? Do let me know. Did anyone catch Dean Richards mouthing off to Christoph Ridley? The Falcons game's apparently got a 3-week ban. I don't know if they have it on screen or off screen. I need the deets, says Katie Dixon. Yeah, I know. Normally, if you'd start talking to a player or a referee, was it a referee? No, it might not have been. No, Dean Richards, is he the coach? Names sound familiar, but I can't think of anyone. It's like a weird statement. Connacht at the moment are losing to the Stormers 14 points to 17. Anyone wondering about the URC, I'll just get that top 14 lineup up for you, mate. Newcastle versus Bath about to kick off in only a short amount of time. Right, who have Toulon got? I can straight away tell you they haven't got some of their French internationals for this one, but currently Scotland, they need to make sure they are the next team to score. And yeah, it was Christoph Ridley, the ref. And there says Katie Dixon. So Toulon at this stage in their lineup, who we got? Nakarawa is there, Ciron Carbonell, Wanekolo, Wanignolo. So they've got Cheslin Colby at 15, which is probably the one that you got to look out for. I think there's slight favourites to win that game, about $1.50 to $2.50 as well. But I probably don't know enough of those French guys to be able to let you know that's going to be kicked in behind. And now there's Jamanier just has to kick it into touch. But Scotland seem to be going for that kicking game a little bit more often. It's actually ended up bouncing off a Scottish player. And because of it now, it does mean that it will be France who have got the line out. And also England will win, sadly. We have too many injuries, something like 28-15 to England, I reckon, says Ben. Okay. Connacht just scored in the 72nd minute, so they're going to be taking the lead up against the Stormers now. But I just love the fact that even though, like, I guess that's the thing, even though the players are missing, the crowd is not. Like, we are allowed full stadiums in the Northern Hemisphere for these matchups, and it's just so different to Super Rugby. Like, we sit in silence down here for our matches. I don't know if you can give that as a penalty, though. I think France are holding them up or holding Wacky up for a little bit longer than they should be there. And the crowd aren't happy with it. They are booing because of Aaron Connacht now beating the Stormers, says Jack. But we are going to be live for that England versus Wales game straight after this one, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. But currently, okay, there we go. Comment from the referee, next time bring him straight down. So they've got away with 2 penalties there, France. The first one, I would say, was probably more than likely a penalty. That one, though, they did seem to hold him up for a little bit longer there for France, which is why Scotland, I mean, they can't really do too much other than sit there, wait for it. Yeah, no, they held him up there. That should have almost been a penalty to Scotland for that one. And also, look at those happy Scottish bros. Yeah, I did see that they were all happy. And England will flog Wales 45-12. Brutal scoreline for that one. But yeah, at the moment, Wales, they will certainly be open to get themselves their second win of the Six Nations, because that's the thing. If France lose this game, Six Nations is wide open. Although for France to lose this game from here, we have to see a brilliant Scottish performance, stealing it in the line out. That's what we're after for Scotland here at Murrayfield. They've got the home field advantage, and they are all getting behind their home side. They have actually, there's a little bit of sun around in Scotland, which is always nice to see. Ball being rolled back, and Ali Price on the left boot now will be putting up the box kick. Gets plenty of height. Yeah, Wales, England is going to be feral. Can't wait. Yo, that's gone through the hands of Jamanier. Now Duan van der Merwe going to be running it straight sideways. Doesn't often pass when he doesn't need to. Now driving up. Only 30 metres out, but straight on the ball for France. Not quite able to turn it over. Finn Russell, great flat pass out to Chris Harris. Shut down by Jonathan Dante, but now 20 or so metres out. In fact, it's closer to 15. Now 20 out. Going to be Finn Russell passing it across field. Bradbury with another carry, and the Scottish crowd, you can hear them getting behind them. For Murrayfield, interception almost thrown there. I think that man got a knee right in the bollocks. It's kicked downfield from France. Now it's going to be a foot race for Damien Pinot, and Duan van der Merwe does a couple tricks there. He flicks it up, and Duan van der Merwe drops it twice. And now France have got themselves the scrum feed on the 22. I think in the mix to that, some player got a flying knee right where you don't want it. And also, that was a skull cruncher. There says Katie, and also, if I know Wales, will wait the last 5 minutes to lose the game. That's the way we do it, says Ben. Oh. Is that legal from Jamanier? He's actually almost led with his arms like that, and that's just an unlucky bounce for France. There says Xavier, and also this guy never had a coffee Red Bull because he plainly doesn't need it as well. Would be like putting nitrous on a Formula One car, says Rando. And also Stephen has got Janice Jersey. Oh, geez, those are all of the J names. Quite a few of them when you think about it, isn't there? June, July, they're probably the only 2 months that you can kind of call. No, I've heard someone's got a September name. They're actually going to be checking upstairs for this one here. Might be a penalty reversed, but the English referee really hearing some stick from the Scottish home crowd. Okay, they're going upstairs. They're going to be checking on this one. And oh, God, my pancreas, his pancreas, his spleen in there, says Katie Dixon. Okay. So he attempts to catch the ball. Then from there, he doesn't really line it up too well for Jamanier, and he ends up kind of just diving straight into the player, and he was holding his spleen / pancreas / area around there, and that is going to be the penalty now to Scotland. And also we have got there the rando with the truth there. But yeah, I don't know why I don't, I guess my body is caffeinating itself. How does that work? I don't know, because that's the thing. It's 3:44. I should be extremely tired. But I'm just fine. And hitting him in the face with a skateboard would have been kinder, says Katie Dixon. Yeah, he certainly felt that one for, I believe it was the big man, Nick Hanning, who just got up afterwards after staying down for a little while. But now, penalty to Scotland. They will be kicking for the corner. There's no point going for the 3 here because we know that France are going to score another try at some stage, probably in this first half. In fact, we still got another 14 minutes left. But now, Scotland in the corner, rolling more opportunity. Can they get themselves over the line? The first try of the day. Stuart McAnally, huge pressure on this throw. It's to make sure that this one is relatively straight. Pierce Scorman, he's ready for it, but no one else for Scotland had made their way forward. Throwing it to the back, it's straight enough. Offloading it back now nicely. Bradbury gets close. Bradbury very close. 1 metre out now for the Scottish once again. Just trying to creep forward their loose forwards. I'd love to have a Hamish Watson in this situation. Ellie Price snipes himself. No. Does he? Oh, did he go? Or should he have gone himself? He looks like he's claiming that try. But it looks like they're going to continue playing for now, just in case it wasn't down that time. There's Xander Ferguson got it down. I think he's also short. Okay, the referee said held up there for Xander Ferguson. I think they've got to look upstairs to see whether or not Ali Price got this one down, though. And Ali Price, I think he is saying that, and Scotland held up, I reckon. That second one definitely was. It's whether or not Ali Price got it down. And Dean Richards was England's number 8, and he's currently a coach. He's famous for the Bloodgate incident. And there says Stephen, Bloodgate. That's the one, that was the, is that the fake blood for stoppage time? Or something along those lines, wasn't it? Ali Price, that's an awkward way of falling down. Okay, the crowd are cheering, but I don't know whether or not he did get that down. And yeah, all the more reason the drama is juicy, and it was a Quins thing. I don't think that's touched the ground there for Ali Price, unfortunately, and the Scottish crowd are cheering, but sadly, I don't believe there's enough compelling evidence that that is going to be overruled as a try. So I believe the goal line dropout, or the goal line dropout, I should say. It's a very awkward way he fell, but Paul Williams are able to drag him down. And Gregory Aldrich just getting a hand underneath. High tackle, surely. It did look high. Okay. Oh, hang on. They've just talked about the fact that Gregory Aldrich isn't allowed to get involved in that. Okay, it's going to be a high tackle. No try, high tackle. Penalty to Scotland, but no try. And Gran gets upset when we bring it up at the dinner table, says Katie Dixon there. Currently now that one was a high tackle. Looks like they're going to take the quick tap. Yes, Joe McAnally was going to throw himself at the line instead. Offloads it to their number 7. This is a great field position here for Scotland. Ali Price offloads it back. Continuing to use those forwards. That was Bradbury. Another advantage against Gregory Aldrich for not being able to roll away there. Now continuing to build up the Scottish momentum. Ali Price passes it beautifully. It's the try there. And it's going to be the number 7 who gets it. Rory Darge does score the first try for Scotland. There is emotion at Murrayfield. And Scotland fight their way back into this contest with a lovely try for themselves. Try scored by Darge in the number 7 jersey. Late replacement for Hamish Watson, or a rearrange in that kind of loose forward trio with Nick Hanning getting to start. Bradbury also there, but it is going to be Rory Darge. He's the man of the moment. Has just been able to get himself that try in the 29th minute of this game. I realize my scoreboard's been really slacking. Was about 9 minutes behind time. But Darge gets over there. Does end up scoring. Xavier Brown has got the try in the chat. And also Darge in there. Go Scotland, go in there. But currently brilliantly done by Scotland. Patient. Only a few meters out from the line. Continue to build. And now they have been able to get themselves their first try of the match. That's one try. They need 3 more for the bonus point. But they need 4 more points to be back to an even playing field with the French. Van Russell now going to be lining up this kick. 1 from 1 tonight. 27 meters out. Should be relatively comfortable, but nothing's comfortable now at Murrayfield because we did see that miss from Jamanier, who is normally about a 95% kicker. He knows the conditions a little bit better, though, Finn Russell, and he gets it straight down the middle. Score now 10 points to Scotland and 12 to France. And I feel like I said, come on, Scotland, banana skin France. I do it for Ireland. And there's the I can also score. Stormers lost the game against Connacht at the last minute, says Achilles. I did see that it was about a 72nd minute try. It's unfortunate because they were close, and I feel like getting that close and then to have it taken away from you just hurts a little bit more. Although the bonus point, I assume they would have been able to get Achilles, hopefully. Like, they deserve to get something out of that game with how close it was right up till the final moment. Currently, a little bit of a counter ruck there. It's going to be the penalty to Scotland, and a Gail Feku with the illegal clean out in the breakdown. At the moment, the Scottish discipline has been a lot better than France. And this is going to be one of those ones that I would say penalties will be the difference between these two sides, possibly. I said that line-out time will be important and penalty time at this point. seems like it is going to be an important factor as well. Big kick downfield from Finn Russell. 5 penalties against France, 3 against Scotland. And how's the lead king? Says Katie to Tig. So yeah, Stormers at least getting 1 point in there, says Achilles. But yeah, extremely close to being able to win that game. How do you think they'll go? Sharks versus Benetton is the next one. But yeah, Scorman taken out there by Galfeku, taken nicely now. I believe that was Gilchrist now breaking off the back, the try scorer Daj, and he's got a bit of extra confidence knock on though. Not what they would have been after for Scotland, just after getting some forward momentum. And hey, Achilles, how you doing, brother? And yeah, says Katie Dixon. But currently, yeah, Stormers versus Connacht, 19 points to 17 at full time. Close game between those two sides. We've also got England versus, it will be Wales a little bit later on. That will be an awesome matchup, and hopefully it will be as close as this game is as we currently sit. I always find those spider cams look real weird when you actually see them because they're just on strings, but the way that they can maneuver so smoothly, it's just confusing. That's like my 4 a.m. technology brain kicking in. Like when you think about it, I think we've had this ramble before, but technology is incredible. Like my mouse, like I press a button on it, the middle of it changes color. Why? Like, why did they decide that that's a good idea? But now Dupont goes back to Intermac, inside ball, back to Dupont, back to Intermac. Pinot getting involved as well. Now Gregory Eldrick picks it up off the bounce. Dragged down by Chris Harris. Now waiting for that ball. It's a penalty to Scotland, and technology is pretty incredible. It is. Indeed, I believe Sharks would beat Benetton, considering they have 15 men. They play international rugby, so it's a full international squad. Then again, you can't underestimate Benetton either. Miracles happen. And hey, Katie, I'm doing great. And how are you, my dear? Yes, it was from Achilles, but currently a player is down. I think that's Stuart McAnally. Might have taken a big bump, but Chris Harris making the tackle there. And then Daj, I believe, getting straight on that ball, turning it over for Scotland. He's playing a game and a half at the moment, Daj. And if he can continue doing it, like that's the thing. They've got Hamish Watson on the sideline. It's the perfect opportunity for a young player to take his place. Just watching the rugby and chilling, says Katie there. And yeah, plenty more rugby tonight. And also tomorrow, we've got the game between Ireland and Italy, which should be, I would say, a relatively one-sided game at the Aviva, but you can never quite tell in the Six Nations. We've seen upsets before. Maybe not an upset that monumental, but still upsets. Water off, please. Get off the field is what the referee has said in a nicer way of saying it. Let's go, please, as well. Very polite from the referee. But currently now, Finn Russell will be kicking this one for the touchline. Taking his time. Kicks it out. Says thanks very much for coming. Now they have got the line out about 35 metres out here. And if Scotland score again, both sides, even whoever loses, might have the potential of getting themselves a bonus point for getting 4 or more tries. That is all you need in the Six Nations. I say all you need as if that's an easy task. That is far from easy for either of these sides. And awesome, Katie. Glad you're enjoying yourself. Always happy to run into you here, says Achilles there. Currently now 2 points difference between these two sides of the Six Nations. And currently France, they are going for the clean sweep. But for them to be able to do so, they will need to make sure that they get the win over Scotland. Stuart McAnally now breaking off the back. Tackle low by, it was Geelong who actually gets up, makes another tackle there. Price goes back across to Bradbury. Throws himself at the line. Like, that's the thing. They've got a physical front row and also a loose forward trio here. Finn Russell trying to sell the dummy instead. Passes it straight to Chris Harris. It's a clean turnover for France now. And Cyril Bailly breaking off the back. Ali Price trying to stop him. It's a big hit from Grant Gilchrist. Be able to slow him down, though. And I love it here for Joy and also Tucker Waititi's new pirate show. Out soon, fam. Anyone watching our flag means death. Says Katie Dixon. I think it's been advertised here in New Zealand, so we might be able to watch it on, like, either Sky or Prime or something like that. So I might give it a look. That was a large yawn. Jamanier has ended up putting that ball down once again. He hasn't had the cleanest game, but that was a terrible pass from Jonathan Dinty. So it would have been hard for any man to be able to regather it from there. But Scotland, they do seem to have that home field advantage. I mean, we're at Murrayfield after all, and everyone is there in attendance. I believe they'd be allowed. How many can Murrayfield hold? Because whatever it can hold, they've probably got that plus 50 because they will be squeezing them in as well as they can. It's going to be an awesome game. Definitely if Scotland can somehow pull themselves off an upset. They did it last year in the Six Nations. We need to remember that is the reason, or one of the reasons, that Wales were able to win it was because France just weren't able to beat Scotland. Like, that's the thing. Going into that game, France needed a bonus point win, and everyone was saying it's pretty much guaranteed, whereas Scotland, they had other plans. They were able to win that game. Bradbury passes back across to Ali Price. Now Finn Russell, ball on the outside, could be available, trying to go straight through Jonathan Dante. Was he tackled away? Look straight to the referee. They do say it's fine. Big tackle from Dupont on Ali Price. Still available here. And then all the rest are a bunch of cheats, says BDT. 84,000 at Murrayfield. Jeez, that's plenty, isn't it? It's an advantage for a knock on there in favour of Scotland. Nice flat pass from Finn Russell. Momentum going forward. Hogg on the outside, just not quite linking up with Duan van der Merwe. A little knock on, and that advantage is over for the original one. It does mean that's quite a mighty gash on the arm of Duan van der Merwe, right on the elbow. That one will sting in the shower later on. It was just a little bit behind him. Haining just not quite being able to link up with his hands. And Hamish, oh, hello, Hamish Pro, welcome in. The live stream, so happy Reece Darby's in it. There says Katie Dixon. He's also Kiwi, isn't it? We've got quite a few Kiwis coming through the ranks. Or who have been, actually, those two have been around for a very long time, haven't they? Carolina Dupont, going to be there, now, brother. Hope you're well. Says Katie, currently sitting 22 metres out from their line here, France. We are already 36 minutes through this game. It has been absolutely flying by for this match at Murrayfield. But hopefully the second half goes a little bit slower. I've been enjoying this. These two sides seem very evenly matched. France making mistakes, Scotland pouncing on those mistakes. And now ball popping out the back for France in the scrum. Dupont now going across Jonathan Dante, but a crash ball from that big individual. Playing it inside centre for this game alongside Gael Figu on the outside. But now Dupont looks like he is going to be putting up the kick. And yes, Katie says, I'm fine. Thanks for asking. Says Vishal there. But now this ball is going to be fired high from Dupont. It's a nice kick. Down to the halfway line now. It's Stuart Hogg with a counter attack going straight through the tackle with Dupont. The captain's coming together there. Like across here. Nicely to Barge. He's doing nicely at the moment. Or Daj, sorry, I should say, rather than Barge. Barge is a large ship, and he is certainly not that, but he's a large individual. Mofana's now got the ball back for France. Gael Figu selling the big dummy, going to the short side. Little grubber on. This is looking good now for them. It's going to be sitting up. Darcy Graham trying to jump on it. He has been able to regather that ball on the ground. Jumping straight on it. Duan van der Merwe. Now Russell going back across Dupont, rushing up on Stuart Hogg, that time being able to make the tackle. Now Finn Russell's got the ball. That was a rush and a half there from Gael Figu. Offload though to Duan van der Merwe. Holding the ball in one hand. Damien Pinot right behind him trying to catch him. Offload on the inside to Chris Harris. This is try time. Surely it's put down by Stuart Hogg. That man doesn't normally drop balls. Duan van der Merwe straight through, then passes to Chris Harris. All that needed to happen here was this pass needed to stick, and it would have been try time for Scotland. It was in front of him, but Stuart Hogg, you'd back him to take that one 9 times out of 10. And I think 20,000 French fans headed to Murrayfield, so 1 in 4 spectators are French and pissing wedding. People need to stop getting married. It's getting out of control. Rugby pagans. Says Sebastian there. You go to a lot of weddings, don't you, Sebastian? I feel like, is it all of your friends or is it like family members who are getting married at the moment? And also OMFG, Stuart Y, George, and also No says Nov Mum. I couldn't believe that one. Like, I pretty much, when I saw it going through, I thought this is try time. Duan van der Merwe doing so well, gives it off to Harris. Stuart Hogg, you would back him 9 times out of 10. Yes, it was a little bit, maybe the only critique you could say is maybe it was a little bit further ahead of him, but he would normally take that. And you can see the reaction from the Scottish coaching booth. Asking what happened there and what a shocker, says Albion. Well, the NALDA brother want me to transform into a bat and fly around their heads. Says Katie Dixon, I haven't been to a wedding since 2014. It's probably around that time I went to a wedding. I made a terrible decision with my outfit for that wedding, though. I've got a picture of it. I'm not showing you. Let's just say I thought that it would be a good idea to wear some sort of vest and a hat. And that pitch is hopefully never going to resurface. And as a Welshman, I'm sort of mixed as to who I want to win this. Says Flesh and Hamish and George getting married on Saturday, 5th of March at Hamish's Year 10 English teacher house, says Xavier there. And I was like, Les Les Blues, says LB. They've gone down in the front row there. And a game is about to kick off, I believe, for the Gallagher Premiership. Or in fact, it's probably about 3 games that are about to kick off that they have got in Charles, please. Says Xavier Brown, I would prefer not to. It would take some heavy persuading. It's not a good... Well, I mean, it depends on how you look at it. I thought I was, like, doing a good thing, but it just wasn't a good thing. And that's my cousin Pagan. Now, how can you do that during the Six Nations name of Georgia getting married on Maxie and Dan Carter's birthday? Oh, says Katie. And speaking of that, Katie, I have talked to Norm, and we are going to do that video. Or it will be a video rather than a live stream due to connection. But if you got any questions you want to ask Norm Maxwell, be sure to put them in the chat and I will star them and then take a shot of them and then ask him them. I was like, Hamish, bro, ad time is my screen. So end of the ad, I will be back on streaming, says Michelle. So we'll see you in a short moment. Currently 30 seconds left in this first half. Going in, and I was like, yeah, he should have been a bit more considerate, says Katie to Sebastian. And also, surely Shah, says Xavier. You're trying to convince me that is a very generous offering. Xavier, now Mo Fana on the outside, flicking on the inside, Jamaneer. Jamaneer in that one. It's gone into touch, and I believe we've got about 3 seconds left. And also, what Maxie is going to do it. It's just the best. I love him, says Katie. He is indeed. And also, hey, Katie, it's all right. It's my duty to be here and pretend that I'm happy for him. It's my duty to be there, sorry, I should say. Okay, it sounds like it's just going to be a penalty. Well, this one. Right. While I'm at it, because we're about to be at halftime, so that will be the kind of the best time to try and find it. And I'll say you're a good man, Seb. Says Katie Dixon. Oh, where's my hard drive? Uh-oh. This isn't good. I need my other hard drive, and I don't know where it is. And that's not me just saying that for like there it is. I found it. I shouldn't have looked for it, should I? I should have just run with that excuse. Be like, can't find my hard drive. Can't stand these commentators so biased towards Scotland. And there says LB. I guess they have got very strong Scottish accents, so it's probably, I guess it's kind of similar to what we see for New Zealand with Justin Marshall, how they just love like their own team. But at the moment, France can have a good opportunity here to try and get themselves some late points in this one. Right. I have found the hard drive. I'll have to go looking for it at halftime, see whether or not I can find the picture for you, just because I'm generous. And I'm going to regret it. And also now throwing this ball in, it will be Julio Marchand. Throwing it in nicely. Taken by Cameron Walkie and now continuing to use that momentum that France are starting to build here. They did get 2 early tries in France in there, says LB. Now going back across, it's going to be Dupont. Now offloading it back to Jonathan Dante, just a bump off. And he does sit down. Finn Russell now ball way on the outside, bouncing up to Mo Fana. This could be another one for the number 11. No, it does end up getting wrestled down 10 meters out from the line. Dupont now goes back across. Good backline movement into Mac. Now one more out to Gal Fiku. Looks like he wants to be an Olympic sprinter. Breaking through, scores the try, and Gal Fiku gets it. And Scotland do not in there. Says Katie Dixon. Brilliant try for Gal Fiku. Just ended up breaking down the wing. And that is a 3rd try now in this match. For the Scottish. Only 40 minutes in. Oh, okay, they're just checking something to make sure. I believe the grounding was in the field of play. And they did in there, says Katie. And I believe that would have been Scotland do not concede a try right before halftime. And that is exactly what they did, unless Gal Fiku, no, he's in there. Easy for him. And that is going to be the 3rd try now of the match for France. They move up onto 17 points. And also the winger probably mad. He ran the whole time and didn't get the ball in there, says LB. He was in support the whole way through, and I had my revenge someday. He's a massive football fan. I'll be sure to book my wedding during our FIFA World Cup in the future, says Sebastian. Liking it. A little bit of that rivalry, cousinly rivalry. Is that a thing? Oh. Okay, we're just going to see it one more time here. No, that's fine. That's fine. From that angle, you can see that he's clearly in the field of play. I'm getting late. I am getting late. The stream India versus Sri Lanka. Second T20 in progress, last over bowl. An exciting half, says LB. And I also name a Lord. And there says KD. But yeah, currently, I mean, that's a first half and a half. First half and a half. So that would be first half and a half. So that is a 3/4 half, I guess you could say, or 3/4 of the whole for that first half. It was a brilliant one. 5 tries seen throughout that match. In fact, that's a lie. It's only 4. And I can't believe Hogg dropped it, says Bob Jobs. Should have been 5. That is where the other try came from. It's one that we didn't expect Hogg to drop. I'll be honest. I was calling it as a try before it even reached him. He put it down, which is what he will be very disappointed with. But we'll get some stats to do with this match as well while we are at it. And also, I have to go hunting for an old photo of myself. The thing is, I have got a lot of files, so I do apologize if I cannot find it. I'll try my best, but there are just that many folders and files on my computer that I don't know whether or not it will be an easy find for like in a precious situation. Maybe. I will get the stats up first, though. Will be a good start. So we'll go Six Nations, and we will get those stats to do with this match. And also, he's going to need an INNBRU and some Dunkaroos on his break. And I was always taught if you get one hand to it, you can get 2 to it, Hogg. And there says LB. And yes, Stuart Wells says Katie. It's a game-changing moment for them in this one. I would say that one could easily be the difference between a win and a loss here for Scotland. But currently, match stats, that's the one we're after. The button doesn't work. Okay, the button does not work. That's weird. Okay. My mouse doesn't work anymore. Page unresponsive. Oh, wait. It's the Six Nations website, which is not ideal. 176 for 6. Now Sri Lanka 2 balls remaining, says Vishal, but we are going to be back for the second half in a very short moment once it does kick in. Currently trying to get some stats of this match might be more difficult than I initially anticipated. Okay, we're going to exit from the page of the Six Nations because that is not working, but we have still got our other one that we have got, and this one has the match center stats, so we will go to that. And also, oh my God, Peacock has given us live shed cam feed. Is that legal? Shed cam as in like actually in there with the players. Hopefully no one like ends up like changing shorts or anything because I feel like they could get in trouble for that. But currently 62% possession for Scotland, 55% territory. That's the other way around. 55 possession, 62% territory. 3 tries for France though. What was a very good first half. For the South of France win this game with a bonus point. Pretty much all they need is a losing bonus point against England and their champion, says Sebastian. So for the sake of that, hopefully it does get a little bit closer for the second half. I mean, 9 points difference between these two sides is probably about a stock standard lead of what people would have been expecting for this game. But Scotland are right in it. And also, I feel so bad for Ukraine people and the families war are going on between Russia and Ukraine. Hopefully the situation there becomes normal soon. Exactly right. Although I don't know how much I can talk about it because YouTube are very strict in what they kind of take down around the topic. So I do have to be careful and kind of have to juggle my way around it. But 224 meters at the moment carried for France, 204 for Scotland. 10 defeaters beaten compared to the 12 in the favor of the French with the 12 there. And also tackles made. They've actually missed 10 tackles, France. So only making the 51. And then this is a bigger stat. France have been able to really tear through that Scottish defense. 28 tackles attempted, 12 tackles missed for them. And also, yeah, it's viewer cam today. Viewer, hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Well, that one. But currently the stats are looking good. I'd say the stats probably benefit Scotland. No, sorry. The stats probably benefit France. But Scotland are still, I guess, in some of those stats, they've actually got a few better stats, such as the line-out success, 5 from 5 so far, whereas there was 1 turned over from the French line outside of it. But the next game that is taking place, it is going to be between France. That's the lie. It's going to be between England and Wales. We are going to be covering that game on the channel. Also, these are the previous fixtures for Scotland, 20-17, 20-17 for Scotland up against England. And then they were defeated 20-17 up against Wales in last week's fixture. Then looking through at France, they had a good win over Italy, a close game up against Ireland, but in the end able to get that win. And that gave Ireland the losing bonus points, so that will still keep their Six Nations hopes alive for a little bit longer. And currently, the next 2 games, Wales So they are going to be playing. That's going to be at Principality Stadium. And then they've got their home game up against England, which is going to be a huge one for them to try and get going. And yeah, that's weird that YouTube do that, says Fleshin. And yeah, I guess it's like, the thing is, you may not even be directly speaking about something, but it's like YouTube's auto-generated subtitles can actually be the thing that gets you. Like just random words like that, just they pick up on and they go, right, we're going to check that out, but we won't check it out now. We'll probably mark it and then check it out later on. Like, that's the thing. I've had my voice copyright claimed. How did that work? Like a USA/Canada cricket channel that weren't even showing the same game of cricket as I was doing. It was the BBL. They copyright claimed my voice between a minute, or I think it was like an hour and 30 minutes and an hour and 31 minutes or something like that. And they just copyright claim my voice. And they were like, this is our content that you're using. So we, like, because of the claim, they get all revenue from that live stream in the moment, which is weird because it's like, it's coming out of my body. But they were able to claim it. So I don't know what's up with the system in terms of like how easy it is to be able to claim things and strike things and everything along those lines. That man just fell over for the snowboarding. I just realized that was a woman, so I apologize to her. But it's hard to tell, isn't it, when they got the helmet and everything on as well. And currently, ruck success, Scotland actually having more ruck success in that first half. Scrums won, less scrums won, though, for Scotland. So I would say one of the key players for Scotland in the second half, it's probably going to be Finn Russell, and I will say it's Stuart Hogg. That man, he was so close to being able to get himself that try. And please pick your 4 semi-finalists in the ICC T20 World Cup in Australia, your prediction. And also, 4 teams. I'm going to go Australia make it. I'm going to go England make it. I'm going to say New Zealand make it. And I say either India or Pakistan. It's just trying to decide who for that one. So almost the same as what we saw in Abu Dhabi, because these are close competitions together. And also WTF, how could they copyright claim your voice? Very weird. Says no mum. And the thing is, it was a manual claim. So like they literally went between this time and this time. It was just me talking. I was just going like, oh, yep, like there was a decent shot by such and such. And they had to manually like point to where it was. And they like just clipped a middle bit. And I don't know whether or not they thought I'd just be like, copyright claim. Oh, no, I must have done something wrong, like, and trying to just get, I guess, cheap revenue. But it's weird. I managed to get the revenue back, which is, I guess, good, even though, like, it was one of the smaller live streams on the channel, which is why I found it so funny, because, like, the fact that they tried to copyright claim one that, like, I guess, yeah, people are weird. YouTube's weird. But somehow I do it at random hours of the night and it goes all right. And also the YouTube system is just one big muddy field, says Flesh in there. And also, like your voice, no. And then YouTube is so weird, says Katie. It is. It's a weird place. It's a wonderful place at the same time. It's a weird, wonderful place. Like sometimes there's normal stuff happening and other times it's just flat out strange. Currently, I can't actually, I've been looking through a few files while we have been waiting, trying to find that picture of me with my cap on. I can't find it as of yet, and I think that is because it's quite an old photo, but I'm trying my best. I'm hoping I will be able to find it soon. Like, I'm thinking it's actually before my hard drive, so I might be on an older hard drive that I haven't got at the moment. So I might have to go looking for it in between. I don't watch the URC. How did the Italy team go? Or don't watch the URC. How did the Italy team go? Have they ever won it? Says Xavier. So the Pro, it was originally the Pro 14. And I don't believe, it's been a very long time since they have, if they have. Okay, I found pictures of me and Bar. Oh, no, I found it. What is that? What is that outfit? Right. You guys asked nicely. I don't want to do this. You see a random ghost that's standing next to me. I'm just going to go like that. We're not going to share our audio. What is that? Why did I think that was a good idea? I took the cap off. Oh, the hat off. I didn't wear the hat into the wedding. because it just wasn't an ideal situation. I don't know who I thought I was being. I don't know if I thought I was Jiminy Cricket or whatnot, but that's all you get to see. That's all we're showing of that one. We're going back to the scoreboard before I just slowly crawl into a ball of embarrassment. We'll go like this, and we put that back up and go like this. And so, Hamish, what was the date when you first recorded and published your YouTube or video on YouTube? So our first one that was slightly serious, I guess, on YouTube was we had a couple snowboarding ones from about 2017, but they weren't really, like, I guess, counted towards our rugby side of it. Our first rugby ones, 2019, I think it was, or 2020. I think it was relatively recently, and Hamish, you look great, 10 out of 10. Yeah, from Katie and Benetton won last year's Rainbow Cup, beating the Bulls in the final as well. Says Sebastian there, they sure did. And also, if you said that with someone else, I would believe you. It does look a lot different. I used to look different than what I do now. That's for sure. Like, that's the thing. We got an old picture of me, George, Daniel, and Isaac. And, like, I don't know, my face has changed a bit. I've probably changed a bit. I probably get less sleep now, and it looks like they hired the mob for protection for that event. Yeah, it's not a good one. I've realized these late night live streams, I show you guys pictures that I shouldn't, such as me with a koala. Did I show you the one of me dressed as a penguin? No, I mean the other one. With me and the fish, that's the one that we had. And I was like, the Olympic medal winners. I'm doing some laps around the field. There's Katie Dixon there. Okay, that makes sense because they are currently showing us the medal highlights here in New Zealand, but for the Kiwi side of it, they surely show us baby photos. Surely not. Not going to happen for this one anyway. No, we've got to save some mystery about my childhood. Giving it all away at the moment. You almost know where we live. Not really, luckily. I don't think I'd ever give out my address to just everyone. I feel like that would be a risky business. You'd have to have a PO box first, I would think. But we're still going to do the chicken nugget challenge. That's coming up very soon. But currently, the 3 try scorers for France, Valimza, Mofana, and Fiku. And then Daj was the 1 try scorer for Scotland in that first half. But currently just waiting for this game to get back underway. And as you are in late at night, we'll be able to do commentary for the cricket today, Hamish. I'm hoping to do as many of these sessions as I can. So I'll probably end up maybe missing out on the last one if I get too tired. But if I'm fine, I'll just end up doing the whole cricket day. Going to sleep after that, waking up at about 3:30 a.m. and doing Ireland versus Italy, going back to sleep, waking up and doing the cricket day 4, going back to sleep, waking up, doing day 5, and then also filming with Maxi on Wednesday, I believe it was, or it will be. And also, George and Hamish, baby photos, and never give out your address to anyone you haven't seen in real life, says Xavier. Yeah, that is a good point. Good life advice there, because you never know who's on the other side of the computer / on the other side of the, just the world, or not the world, but on the other side of the screen, I guess you could say. Oh, okay, that's all right. Covington versus Masvidal is actually next week. I'm probably going to actually watch that fight. I've watched the last couple that they have had. Have they fought? Yeah, they have. They have. Yeah. I believe. I can't remember completely. My brain's gone blank, but currently now the two sides making their way back out onto the screen, or onto the field, I should say, which is very exciting stuff. As the first half went extremely quickly, we've got another game happening straight after this one. That is going to be the match between England and Wales. But first of all, we have got the second half of this fixture. Stuart Hogg leading inside out. I'm sure that one will be playing on his mind still of him dropping that ball. Could have almost made his way over the try line. And I think from there he would have been able to, which does hurt a little bit more. If it's not a guaranteed try, sometimes you feel a little bit better about it. For all you know, it could be a 50-year-old woman behind this account. Not, but it could be in there, says Xavier. That's the thing, though. We've had so many people in the past, who have had an account, and then they've been like, oh, it's actually me from before, and this was my old name. And I'm like, oh, yeah, we do actually know you. So it's YouTube's a weird one, because you've got a picture of Tate McDermott. Imagine if you were covering up as Xavier Brown, but really you are actually Tate McDermott. That would be kind of cool. And if you were Tate McDermott, we will certainly have you on the channel, hopefully, if you did want to. Although maybe a future Tate McDermott, maybe we'll have to get you on early. before you become Tate McDermott. Currently now Scotland, they will be kicking off the second half at Murrayfield in front of a packed house. Stuart Hogg and Finn Russell having a chat. No, they haven't. And there says Fleshin. No, they haven't. No, they haven't, says Fleshin. No, they haven't. What am I? No way haven't it. Who did they change someone? Who's that? Okay, Mark Bennett's on the field. And also both for Usman. Oh, okay, that's who I'm thinking of. That is the UFC one, wasn't it? So, yeah, that's going to be a good fight. That's a terrible clearance there for France, but it's actually worked out not too badly. And Hamish has proof I'm real. And then says Katie Dixon, and do indeed. I've got proof that a few of you guys are who you are saying you are. I think probably about, I'd say 4 of you guys I've seen or not in person, but like your actual faces type thing. Overall, and also, Tate McDermott is injured, isn't he? Says Xavier. He is at the moment, sadly. I think he did end up having an injury in that last game. Same game as Taniela Tupou was going to be playing, but didn't end up playing in the end. Sione Tuipulotu having the carry forward. I got back now once again. Nice bit of phase play, looking like it is going to be opening up here for Scotland, continuing to drive their way forward. Ali Price goes back once again. Finn Russell now wide cutout pass. Out to it is Jamie Ritchie, I believe, there. Oh, what's happened there? He's hurt his shoulder. It's not Jamie Ritchie, though, but it's a different man. I think it might have been almost Hanning or Darge, but he stayed down with a quite serious-looking injury now. Nice run on the inside there from Bennett. I wonder who he's on the field for. Who he is on the field for is what I was trying to say there. But yeah, hopefully, I mean, if you guys are interested, would you like to see us do a UFC commentary live stream? Damien Pinot now kicking in behind and continuing to drive his way forward. Duan van der Merwe going to be racing back, but he didn't read the bounce. Jonathan Dante scores the bonus point try. Mistake from Scotland. You cannot commit both men to trying to take that catch. You need someone to sit back just in case the bounce of the rugby ball is not favourable. And that is exactly what happened for that one. But Jonathan Dante does end up scoring it straight away in the second half, 41 minutes into the game. And that is going to be the bonus point. Well, then one moment, we will go like that. We will go like that. But this kick here from Damien Pinot, the little chip and chase. Look at this. It was Stuart Hogg and Duan van der Merwe both misreading it. Ball bounces up. Jonathan Dante is there. And he does end up scoring a nice, easy run and try. And Dan says, fleshing down, what a try. And there says Xavier and also France. And it was kind of glorious, y'all, that bounce, the bounce of betrayal. And France is so good. They kill you if you give them any chance. Chances. I almost said chances, didn't I? But yeah, exactly right. Oh. Okay, they were checking whether or not there was a knock on a little bit earlier on. I believe it was play on, though. And Jonathan Dante does score the try in the midfield. But the bonus point now in favour of the French. Can they go on and continue this momentum for the rest of the game? Scotland going to be down by 14 with the kick to come now in favour of France. And they have been able to get that one straight over with Jamanier. This game, the stretch just a little bit further. It seems like the French have turned up in numbers. I believe someone mentioned 1 every 4 people. There's 2 people, in fact, who have just brought a baguette. Fair play, I guess. I wonder if they're going to actually eat that baguette. How do you get away with bringing in food to a rugby game? I guess you'd have to say it's just a prop, sir. It's not actually a baguette. But then you could probably get away with saying it's a prop, but really it's just a baguette, and you can't eat it. Also, Katie Dixon bouncing betrayal. Betrayal, oh, so true. See expression there. And how much does Murrayfield hold? Someone said 80,000 a little bit earlier on, but I'm not too sure how many they can have. But it was actually Haining now getting taken off the field. That is for Andy Christie due to his injury. But currently, Scotland, they will still be trying to continue their way forward. This is a very big zoom in there. Over there, number 20. Now going back across here. Looking for the offload. It's a knock on. It's a double knock on. They're going back. And also, I felt the sting of betrayal. And there says Katie, but currently now 73 minutes into this game. That's a lie. That's not the time. It's 43. And what a conversion, says Fletcher. Yeah, very impressive one for Javanier. That's the thing. When he missed the one straight in front, it's just so unlike him to miss those nice, easy ones. They ended up going forward a little bit from Magnus Bradbury. Currently, Bennett Wait, is that Andy Christie or is that Bennett? They said Bennett earlier on and now they're saying Christie. Who are they going with? Okay, that is Andy Christie. Who is Bennett? Mark Bennett, that's who it is. I was confused for a second. I was like, who is Bennett? So I mentioned him a few times. Now Dupont going to be feeding in this ball to the scrum. Being told to put the ball in. It's bouncing out the side a little bit, trying to get this one straight in nicely. It's going down on the far side. It's going to be the scrum reset. But currently, we are only sitting a total of 1 hour, 20 minutes away from the start of Ireland. That's a lie. England taking on Wales. We will be covering that game on the channel also. And alongside that, we have got some more of the cricket we are going to be doing tomorrow. I will be hopefully wide awake during that one. If not, we will be back for Ireland versus Italy in the evening. Just taking place at 4 a.m. But I'm feeling pretty good at the moment. Like, that's the thing. Theoretically, if I was to do the whole day of cricket, we've only got another 14 hours. That sounds longer now that I say it like that, seeing as we have been up for over 12 already. But it's going to be a long day, but it should be a very exciting one. I love sport, and I got to love it. That's very skillful. I think that was actually their number 7 there. Geelong actually balanced the ball on the side of Alderet's foot. They're being told to use it here once again now for France. Alderet passes back to Dupont. Fiku, nice ball back. This is a good set play for France, opening up. Dupont kicks it in behind. That ball skidding on big time. Does it roll dead or does it pull up? Dupont, the luck of the rugby ball. It did end up bouncing on the line. Just touching the line. So almost the luck of the ball went the way of Devi at the moment. Finn Russell and Intermac just having a bit of a chat between each other and just bouncing on it. Because of it, they had to, I guess you could say, they had to make sure that that one did touch it, or else it would have been put down in the in-goal area. I just realized I packed a whole entire bomb last night and never smoked it. Wake and bake. And there's Katie Dixon. And now Demba Bumba making his way out on the field. So a couple early changes being made for both of these sides in this matchup. I believe that is going to be for Yui Antonio, who has gone down with some sort of maybe groin strain, calf, something along those lines. He's trying to warm up the legs, but Demba Bumba, a good man to have come off the bench if you are in the boots of France. 16 points difference. They've already got themselves a bonus point in this match for the try scored. They want to get the full 5, though, and for them to be able to do that would all but secure the Six Nations for them, but they would have to win their last couple games. One up against England and one up against Wales. But Yui Antonio going off field. A sad sight to see a prop making his way off there, because Katie may have predicted that there would be a prop who would get injured. And somehow you've nailed it and going to need it for the this fail show. It's Katie Dixon, come on Scotland, do it for the fam. And this is Katie as well. Yui Antonio, I don't believe it's anything too serious. He still seems to be walking not terribly. It's just a little strain. Now, Demba Bumba made his way out into the front row, 40 metres out from the line here for Scotland. The ball has been fed in of Ali Price, popping out the back. It looks like once again they are going to be backing themselves. Ali Price with a great step there. Dupont trying to stop him and continuing to go forward. And also, what rugby player is the most, or in the world, is on the most money? I think it is it Piatel? No. Not too sure who's on the absolute most at the moment. There's going to be a stoppage here for Ali Price. It looks like he's a little bit hurt for himself as well. And I just love that the French are back to their old self, says LB. They're looking strong. And that's the thing. So many young players out of France are coming through the rankings. I think Ali Price ate the line, which is not good. Okay, so he makes his way through, makes the pass. Dupont jumps on him and, yeah, just skids his head along the ground there for Ali Price. And, yeah, what kind of bacon grease did they smear on that pill today? Says Katie Dixon. And also we have got there. The thing is, betrayal is a big thing that you spend your whole life working, wrapping your hands around a thing that will dump on you at a whim, says Flesh. And that is deep, isn't it? And also, is Dupont on the most money? I don't believe so. Is it Piet? No, it might actually be Andre Pollard until he went back to, I know he was on huge money at Montpellier. Finn Russell also was going to have a huge contract in Japan. But yeah, I think it might be close to Piatel. Cheslin Colby's about 5th most, I believe it is. But Toulouse will probably have to get the wallets out, keep him there, because he has got potential of maybe going overseas if they do give him enough money. Pollard there from LB, because that was his Montpellier contract, wasn't it? And Ali Post looks like he's wearing clown white on his face after hitting the deck, bless. And he slid on his face for a long time. Do you remember the song La Bamba? And there says Nov Mama. Now the rolling ball starting to open up here for Scotland. It will be their replacement. Number 21 jersey, actually able to score himself a try on debut a little while ago, Richie Valens. And yeah, and yes, I love Richie Valens, says Katie, but now still continuing to build up phases. It's a penalty to France, and Scotland disappointed with that one. But the man who I was trying to think of was Ben White. Currently off feet, and I believe it was the youngster and Andy Christie. Is he young? I don't know. It's been a while since we've seen him. Now, Jamanier. Little yawn coming. I might actually quickly just drop something down the back of my desk, unfortunately, but I will also grab a drink. This is quite a juggle at the moment. I'm trying to put it right in the back corner, but it is tricky to do. One moment. We'll go like that. Don't want to spill nothing. Right, that's all right. And also, but yeah, Dupont will get the highest contract soon. Yeah, I wonder whether or not it will be at Toulouse or whether someone else in France might try and sign him, or maybe overseas might give him the opportunity. Mofana, I'm sure that would be out there. Yes, it is. And now Scotland, once again, are going to have themselves a lineup. They've had quite a few. And also, Donna is another great song. My mum used to sing it to me and my sister when we were babies to get us to sleep. And sorry, it wasn't meant to be deep. The bounce of the ball, says Flesh in there. It sounded deep, didn't it? But yeah, the rugby ball, sometimes it loves you, sometimes it hates you. Just like a mother-in-law. But currently, Mofana did go on the touchline. And that is why it was Scotland's line-out throw. It's gone down there. It looks like France might be able to. Can they turn it over? No, they have been told to get out of it. It's a comment from the English referee. I'm sure he didn't quite say it in that manner. He would have still passed the message on 40 metres out from their own line here. And once again, now nicely done. They're saying about Matt Ferguson. He's actually injured at the moment also, so they're missing so many players here for Scotland. Mark Bennett now goes back across to Finn Russell, goes for the kick in behind to one for Murrayfield. Trying to get back to get to this one. Mofana has to cover it. Almost just has to run it into touch. Does he get put out? He's throwing the ball down. Oh, did Finn Russell get that one down? Finn Russell might have just poached that off Romain Intermac, or in fact, it was Jamanier. And sometimes you just got to get down deep on ball betrayal. I don't apologize, brother, says Flesh. And right. Mofana close to the touchline. First step, seeing if he is in touch. The heel was on the line. The thing is, though, that's not what the Scottish fans will want to see, because there's a chance that Finn Russell put this ball down, but they will be going back for the original lineup, but it's only 5 minutes out this game. Says Katie, it does seem like it's going to be a back and forth encounter for the later stages, perhaps. Currently now 5 meters out. Mofana dragged in a touch. Brilliant kick in behind from Finn Russell to cause that extra bit of pressure. Now Scotland need to make sure that they do get this one right. Taken nicely. Going down, it has been sacked, but it is legally sacked for France there. Demba Bumba over the ball. Does he get the turnover? They've stolen it there, France, and that was just a little bit of poor ball security from Scotland. And France should win this game, says Michelle. They should, but you never know. We taken nicely there that time. Duan van der Merwe taking the catch, gives it off to Stuart Hogg. Now he's looking for the counter attack, trying to skip his way through. It's a good tack on him, though. I believe he almost dropped that ball. Going forward, Darge. Once again, 40 metres out. Finn Russell, he won't go for the cross kick this time, giving it off to Sione Tuipulotu. Sets on the inside, back on the outside. Testing both of his stepping feet for that one. Now going back, White gives it off to Grant Gilchrist. Had a relatively quiet game. He was lined up there for Finn Russell, getting held down at the moment, I believe. Now it's Stuart Hogg almost able to go straight through. Julio Marchand, though, wins the penalty in the breakdown. Katie Dixon covering my nervousness for the Wales game, says Fleshin. And yeah, that game just around the corner, only about an hour and 10 minutes away, which is probably not what you want to hear, because that will just make you a little bit more nervous. It looks like Pieto Malvaka won't be too far away. Tofa Vanua. And then also it will be Flamand making his way out there. Hamish, if Sri Lanka can travel to Australia and play 5 T20 games, while Australia can't travel to New Zealand, as they are nearer wide travel restrictions, says Coding. So pretty much at the moment for New Zealand, managed isolation is a very hard thing to get. So I think that is their main problem, is being able to not just get into the country. They'd have to sit for about 2 weeks in isolation, and then you've got to find a way back into Australia, which probably isn't the trickiest side of it for them, but it would definitely be the other side, which is, kind of getting over here and isolating, because that's why New Zealand wasn't able to go to Australia, because they didn't have isolation booked for them to make their way back. At the moment now, Julio Marchand, his night is over. Pietro Malvaca making his way out there now. Just going like this and like this, just making sure everything is running smoothly, and it does seem to be, which is ideal. And I was like, yeah, my bells are fluttering too, brother, says Katie Dixon, for that game between Wales and England, which is just around the corner. It should be... that one, I'm still 50-50 with who's going to win it. And is your dad into rugby? If so, does he get up for the rugby in the night? He doesn't normally watch games of rugby in the middle of the night. He used to watch a lot more rugby than he does now. But he's probably more of a cricket man. Definitely in the summer, it's kind of like cricket season, I guess, for him. But then during the winter, maybe a little bit of rugby might be seen. He likes to watch an All Blacks test every once in a while. But yeah, overall, my mum, she's into the cricket, but not so much watching the rugby either. In fact, Miguel Fiku at the moment, he looks like he's got a black eye at this current point in time. And now he's got a little bit of strapping on the head. He's saying it's quite tight, I assume that is. But currently tackles made by France, 83 tackles missed, 14 in this one. Then we look at the dominant tackles. They made 6 of them and 3 turnovers, 1 in the breakdown. Most of their dominant tackles have actually been inside of their own 22, I believe it is, or close to their own 22, being a big hit that does force the opposition backwards. Malvaca now throwing this one into the front, taken nicely by Cameron Walkie. Now trying to get this rolling ball forward. Scorman, he's going to be illegally in there, I believe it was. So now he does get forced into touch. Oh, push and shove. Push and shove. I don't think Ben White realizes the penalty's against him or against their team. So he's trying to steal the ball off the French player. Now he's got to give it back. And Katie Dixon, beard time in there. So here's the flesh in. I'm a little bit sad. I don't have any Fanta in the house. And it's a shame. And I'm thinking about buying a big carton, or not a carton, but like a big pack of cans of Fanta. Fanta's actually, I didn't realize how expensive Fanta was. Like, it's like $1.20 or $1.50 per can, I think it is. If you do get the cans, you can get the bottles, but they're not as satisfying because you don't get that kind of thing. And also, he wants a scrap. And there says Katie Dixon, also the Bears to flesh it. But currently, will be a Jamanier lining up this kick. This will give them a lead of 19 points. If they do get this one over, that is. Scotland, they did have less penalties against them in the first half, whereas the second half has really started rotating in the favour of France in terms of momentum and also in terms of point scoring. They did get themselves that nice early try. Dash was able to score for Scotland, but then there have been 4 tries scored by Willemse, Mofana, also Fiku, and then the most recent one, Jonathan Dante, was able to get it. That was straight after halftime to finish. Jamanier strikes, Jamanier misses. I don't think he's ever had such a low kicking percentage for Jamanier, not in recent history anyway that I can think of. Normally, if he misses 1 in a game, people go, geez, that was rough from Jamanier. But this time he's missed 3, I believe, so far today. And Irish, please drink some Fanta during live commentary. Says Coding, I would if I had any, but sadly don't have any here. I could order some online, but it would probably take till about Tuesday to get here, which is actually the last day of the test match. So it might even be gone. Or like the test match might be over, I should say, before it finishes. Oh no, he missed. And there says Katie Dixon. So the difference between the two sides still sitting at a total of 16. Now Antoine Dupont kicks it downfield, going to be bouncing up nicely for Stuart Hogg inside of his 22 now with the counter-attack and play looking on the outside instead. We dragged down nicely by, it was Flamand. Making that tackle now. Ben White goes back across here. It's good work from Scotland, but they do need to continue building up phases. I don't think we're seeing them hit 10 phases too many times, as Finn Russell does like to kick that ball. If he does feel nothing is quite happening, Sione Tuipulotu now making his way almost up to halfway. White goes back. So at the moment, Ali Price is still actually off the field with his HIA, and it's quite interesting. The first time he had his HIA, it was actually the time that Ben White scored a try on his debut Good attacking run forward. Believe that would have been Andy Christie. Now Scotland making their way up to halfway. Walkie lost his footing there. That can't be a penalty, but it's been given as one. I think Stuart Hogg asking the question, did he drop to a knee there? Did he lose his footing? I think he did. Like Cameron Walkie, I know how good of a player he is, but okay, they're saying he might have gone in on the side and off his feet, but I think it was more Ali Price is too slow. And there it says power bite. So what do you think of Ben White overall from what you've seen from him so far? We are seeing that turnover there for Cameron Walkie. The knee went down. So very unfortunate to have that one right in front of the touch as well. Ben White is better. Okay, well, that answers that question straight away. So I guess if you got rid of Ali Price, you got Ben White. Who's your third choice halfback? Power bite, do let me know. I probably don't know too many of the Scottish players off the top of my head in terms of third options. Who else have they got? I feel like I need to see a name probably, and also have a leader of Absolute Vodka calling to me from my fridge this session. Be sure not to drink it all at once, or else you probably won't remember the next game of rugby, although that might be a good thing, depending on what the result is. Only now rolling maul for France here, continuing to just mark their way a little bit closer and just don't drink it all in one go. And then Ben White has a fast service, a hungrier. I'll go with George Horn. That is the other man who I probably should have thought so, but he seems to have disappeared. Is he injured at the moment, George Horn? Or is he playing in the URC? Like, because where did he go? Was he selected in the original squad for Scotland? Maybe released or something? Because I would have thought that he would get an opportunity, although if Ali Price has a concussion, he probably will get a game next week or the week after, I believe it will be. But Ali Price now around the side once again, so he's actually made his way back out onto the field. Now, good carry forward here for Scotland. I believe that would have been once again Hanning. He's been phenomenal in this game in terms of making those extra meters. France trying to get in the breakdown once again and able to turn it over. Now going back, and he's wearing DVD M as a hat in there. And that is, of course, the one for the Merva. Ali Price going back across. Good tackle on Grant Gilchrist by a opposite number almost of him in Gru. And also it's only getting busted out if it all goes badly. Or it goes south badly, says Fleschen. And held up now. This looks like it could almost. Yes, it is called as a maul. The ball pops out and Taufifenua now getting at Walkie on the outside here for France in a counter attack. Jonathan Dante out to Damien Pinot. Just gets the free run in for the corner. And he scores the try. And that is another one spanked into there, says Jack Lewis. This game just continues to get a little bit further away for the Scottish. Will go like this, and we will add Damien Pinot. That man has gone about 4 or 5 games in a row with scoring a try. Just keeps on going and just seems to be able to find his way over the try line multiple times in the Six Nations, also in the season. Been done very nicely, but it was originally man being held up. And speaking of getting busted out, I wonder how many people are getting a divorce in Scotland if they lose this game. Cheers, Katie. It's a good question, although France, of course, France are right up there. Scotland, they've still got a couple more games. They get to play Italy, and the other game that they have got coming up, I believe they still have a game up against, they've got a game against Ireland. That's not going to be fun for anyone. Well, it depends on where that game's being played, though. And I'm going to head off to my bed eyes. Getting heavy, catch you on the flip side, says Novan. We will see you later on. And make sure that you do have a good sleep. Hopefully, we do get to see you at some stage tomorrow, maybe, depending on what's happening. Might end up only doing the 4 a.m. game, which would be a late night one. And also, I'm a Welshman in the middle of England. My phone is already going mad, says Flesh in there. We'll have you very nervous, I would think, right up until the moment that the ball is kicked off, and probably right up until the end of the game. Jamanier misses again. 21 points difference between these two sides. It could have been right up there at about 27 or so. But Jamanier has never missed so many kicks in his career, I wouldn't think. It's a good try for Damien Pinot, though. It just numbers on the outside. The crowd looks like a giant Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. So many sad faces, says Katie. Although I guess that's the thing. The people who have had enough alcohol are probably smiling anyway. And Pinot is class, says Flesh, and he is indeed. And I believe that will be now Oliver Kibble, who has made his way out there. Now currently still 90 minutes left. Third choice scrum half has been Villicott, and they are an uncapped I've never heard of him, says Power Bite. Is he in the Scottish squad at the moment? Velicott. Who does he play for in the URC? I'm trying to think. Is he Edinburgh? No, he's not Edinburgh. Or is he Edinburgh? Might be. Not too sure. And have a good sleep, Jasmine, says KD Dixon there. But now firing up this one for the box kick. It will be, once again, Antoine Dupont. Luku might get a little bit of time at the end of this game if he is lucky. But also Blair Kinghorn coming on the field. That is for Finn Russell. Pierre Schoolman off the field. And that is for Kebble. Making a lot of changes here. And like they're saying, there's enough time here for Scotland to try and get themselves a little bit further back into this game. And I say, yes, he is. Velicott is Edinburgh, says Power Bite. I swear I've only seen him play like twice, if I'm lucky, for like URC and Pro 14 and everything along those lines, or what it used to be. And the Pro 14, it's a flat pass there from Scotland and Scotland squad, says Power Bite there. Once again, continuing to make its way forward for Barge. So Kinghorn's got to be, or not Kinghorn, sorry, I'm thinking of Kinghorn because he's out there. George Horn, he's got to be injured, doesn't he? Oh, that was a scraping across the face of Gilchrist, who I thought actually went off the field. And according to the stats a little bit earlier on, he had, but now a lot of pressure once again being put on Bradbury. And also we don't have enough scrum half depth. And there, says Power Bites. Yeah, I guess that would be one position that if Scotland had a couple more players, because like you guys for your, wingers is actually quite a tough one for Scotland at the moment to try and get everyone in, because Darcy Graham and Dawn van der Merwe are great options. Then also someone like a Kyle Stain doesn't really get too many opportunities. But he got that hat-trick in that earlier game in the Autumn Internationals last year, didn't he? Flat ball once again. Again, going straight to, I believe it was Gilchrist, but I could be wrong. It might actually be Jamie Hodgson. He might have the same headgear as Gilchrist, just to throw me off. They're taking a quick tap there by the looks of it, and Ali Price decided he wants to keep this one going on the go forward. Dawn van der Merwe, in fact, it's Stuart Hogg down the wing, little chip and chase here. Awkward bounce for Pinot inside of his own in goal area. Stuart Hogg decided to commit to the tackle too early, and because of it, Pinot able to run it out from his own in goal. Now Dupont looking for the kick downfield. Brilliant work from France. Composure is a key word for them in this match. And I spent the last 15 minutes in the toilet in a pub in Birmingham when Wales beat England in the 2015 World Cup, says Fleshin. I mean, very early or very nervousness, I guess. Oh, he's been ankle tap. Brilliant job from Scotland. Now Dupont going for the kick in behind here. He's not actually going for the 50-22, just going for a little bit more territory. After just that. Also, I'm new to rugby and only watched the last 2.5 years of the Six Nations. But what's up with Scotland? Why do they choke at home? I genuinely am curious because I like them. Here's Katie there. It's a tricky one because I feel like there's always, I guess, there's sides that normally people beat comfortably and there's sides that they always have as, like, I guess you could say their bogey team type thing. Hodgson's knees, that's not Hodgson. I believe that's actually the youngster in the number 7 jersey. Like, if Scotland won, I'd give him man of the match. His barge has been phenomenal. His knees look like they're absolutely battered. And also, I've had a premonition. Jack Notter score opening try today. It's going to happen, paying £10. Get on it. I've seen it happen before. It's happened, says Jack. Jack, no. Can you guarantee me that? Jack. Is it because his name is Jack and your name is Jack? So in your mind, it went like, you know, I'm Jack, he's Jack, we score tries. That's not a good sign. It's Power Bite. When I typed in George Horn in Google, auto-completed. What has happened to George Horn? Geez, that's not good. What has happened to George Horn? Where is he at the moment? Is he playing in the URC or is he injured? Hope he's all right. Because he looked like a promising player when we saw him. I think we saw him last year for the international. And nope, it's just happening. And there says Jack Lewis, I'll take your word for it. If it doesn't happen, I will be disappointed. And if it does happen, I'll be disappointed that I didn't put any money on it. But I'm trusting you. Even though, my TAB account has no money in it. I think it's got 10 cents so that I can watch the cricket on it. That's all the money I've got in my betting account. And that is purely just to watch sport. Because they actually have quite a few options over here in New Zealand to watch the games for free as long as you got some sort of credit. Now, Kebble, first carry of the match round, Blair Kinghorn, distributing the ball across to, penalty to France. This one, it seems like nothing is quite going the way of Scotland at this current point of time. Not releasing against it was in number 4, and now probably going to be another 3 points here for France. They are increasing their points differential. They are trying to make sure that they are the side that go through and get themselves the Six Nations title. And Scotland and Wales punch above their weight because, or more so Scotland, as it's not their game, says Flesh in there. Oh, they've kicked for the corner. France have decided that they want a couple more tries in this one, trying to really punish Scotland. In second half at the moment, the possession has been 64% in favour of Scotland. Only 36% for France, and also England are going to knock Australia out of the Rugby World Cup this year. And Blades will cry like a Sissy fact. You heard it here first, says Jack. Well, that one, I mean, it would be an interesting semi-final, wouldn't it? Or wait, maybe quarterfinal. We end up being, depending on where they are in the pools and qualifying. But now Pieto Malvaka throws that ball in, taken nicely by Cameron Wacky that time. They did put him straight down for France. So because of it, it does mean that they are going to be able to have a ball turned over. It's actually stolen by Darcy Graham now for Scotland. And looking like they're going to be running out from their own line. Ball on the inside to Sione Tuipulotu. Plays a majority of his rugby for a side who now I can't remember, unfortunately. It's not Edinburgh. It's not Glasgow. It's the blue team whose name I always forget. Is that Glasgow? That might actually be Glasgow. I think it's Glasgow that he plays for. That is my final answer. It's probably wrong, but we'll go with that. Currently, the knock-on in favour of Scotland. So they are going to be able to have themselves the scrum now. 17, or in fact 13 minutes left in this game. Finn Russell here has got a blue patch on the side of his head, getting in the spirit for Scotland. More than likely, he just head-butted a line of some sort. And also, who says that Jack Lewis there? Who? That stumped me. Who are we hooing, Jack, for that one? Do let me know. Currently 67 minutes through this game. And scrum feed in favour of Scotland. Who plays for Glasgow? Sione Tuipulotu, I think. Does he? Is Glasgow the blue team? How many Scottish teams are there? Are there 4 or are there 3? There's Edinburgh. That's a terrible pass, but it somehow worked out to Duan Whanamura. Edinburgh, Glasgow, and running straight sideways. Who's the 3rd Scottish team? And I was like, yes, says Katie Dixon there. It's a penalty to France once again for hanging on to the ball. Just penalised out of the game. I always said Scotland. Scotland are weak. Source these days, they have uptight school. Matron Gregor Townsend in charge. He's like a middle-aged woman. We need Stern Vern. Cotterback says power bite. I feel like that's like the ultimate insult. Like being called a middle-aged woman as a rugby coach. Like you just don't want to be called that. Sione equals Glasgow. That one says Katie Dixon. So Glasgow, Edinburgh. Is there a 3rd side in the URC that's from Scotland? I'm going to have to look this up. So I'll also be able to see an updated score of what's happening in the Sharks game. And they're playing Benetton and Edinburgh, Glasgow only, as far as I'm aware. Do they only have 2? So Italy have 2. Ireland have 4. Maybe. Okay, Sharks are leading 14-0 against Benetton at this point in time. So a good start to the match for them. Right, the Dragons, they are from not there. Scarlets are from not there. Glasgow, Ospreys are from not there. I guess it is. Italy and Scotland, only the 2 sides. You learn something new every day. 2 says Flesh in there. I thought there was a 3rd team. I'm not sure who I'm thinking of. I'm probably thinking of one of the other sides from somewhere else that I'm trying to make Scottish. Just hard to do, seeing as they aren't actually from that country to start with. But now it is going to be the pot. Only 10 metres out here for the French, and they look like they are going to be able to push their way maybe towards another try in this game. That would be their 5th try if they do get it over. And try line one more time. But Intermac now going for the grubber and behind a lot of time. I think he put it down. Yes, he did. And it is going to now be the goal line dropout. And also 2 teams, Glasgow playing blue. And there another Crusaders Scottish. Crusaders. I don't know why I tried to say that in a slightly Scottish accent, but then not a Scottish accent as well. Highlanders is definitely Scottish. Crusaders, I think so. Are Crusaders Scottish? Why did I go so high there? I don't know. Maybe. That's a good question. And also, Power just came back and you're still streaming. Do you know what sleep is, my good CSS Copter? I do. I probably, weekends, sleep doesn't really happen too often. But hopefully, midweek, we end up catching up on the misses. Or not catching up on the misses. I don't have a misses. Catching up on the sleep that I missed. I think I just saw someone in the crowd knitting. I mean, it's a perfect time to do your knitting. A bit of rugby, it's peaceful, it's quiet, nothing happening at the I feel like it's the opposite of what you want when you are knitting. Although I don't know what you want when you're knitting because I don't knit myself. I'd assume it would be one of those ones that listening to a little bit of light jazz might be quite nice for a bit of knitting. Now, Demba Bumba falling on his face. Penalty to Scotland now this time. And they have finally got one back in the second half. How about the Hurricanes? Hurricanes, where are the Hurricanes from? I don't think they're actually based off a kind of place. I think it's more just I guess Hurricanes, when you think about it. Wellington is always windy, so maybe that's where the name came from. And always good catching up on sleep with the misses in there, says Copter. Yes. I feel like I need to be careful here, don't I? Or else I'll dig myself a hole. Yeah, sadly, when you do sleep during the day and live stream during the night, there's not too much time for a misses. Unfortunately, you're just always asleep at the optimum time, I guess you could say. And also, who wins England and France combined 15 versus the All Blacks, says Jack. Where is it played? So I feel like that is a big factor. If it's in New Zealand, I'll back New Zealand. If it's up there in France and it's a majority of French players after the momentum that they built from that last game, I would go France and England's combined team. So I think it just depends on where it is. Twickenham, probably a close one. We do actually get to see them play Twickenham or play at Twickenham, New Zealand, and also England in about 180 days or so, I think it is. And Thomas Ramos now on the field. That is for Jamanier. So I assume kicking responsibilities will either be with Ramos or maybe Intermac Aviva. So neutral territory, but Northern Hemisphere time zone. Assuming that the All Blacks have been up there for like a few weeks getting accustomed to the time. I'll go New Zealand, but it will be a very, very close game and could easily go the other way. For that one, Gregory Alderett now going off to DuPont, although current New Zealand, I would say, are possibly likely to lose. But now Thomas Ramos forward up to 72.5 minutes through this game at the moment for DuPont. There's a plastic bag. Wants to try and cross the try line. Also alongside the French, Demba Bumba. So again, with a very good carry. But our next live stream is going to be starting in half an hour's time, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Also, it's going back for the original penalty. And also, there was a team called the Border Reivers, but they went bust. Border Reivers. Reivers, hopefully I pronounced that correctly. That doesn't sound like a name that's very catchy at all, does it? Border Reivers. Is that a real region in Scotland? Because if it is, I do apologise if anyone from Scotland is from the Border Reivers area. And surely Scotland gets a yellow on next penalty, says Albie. I would think so. I think they've had about 12 against them or somewhere along those lines. Kind of gutted Scotland are losing, though, says Copter there. Yeah, this game, it started off so close, and then it just ended up running away in favour of the French. And the Scottish have not scored a single point in the second half, and two extra teams before. The Highland Caledonians and the Border Reivers says it was powered by, I remember when Chris Casita, hopefully I've said that correctly, signed an extra year for the Borders. And we all said the Reivers are here to say then they went bust. And Border Reivers are one of the clubs that helped create Rugby Sevens, says Hamish. So I guess it is one of those ones, even if they aren't around now, they have still helped shape the rugby world. And what a well-worked try. Says LB there. They are building up to it now. It's going to be the cross kick from Intermac. Ends up straight into the hands of Pinot. And he does end up scoring his second try of the match. That man just can't avoid scoring tries so far. I have a question. If we were to do the player of the year again, would he be up there, Damien Pinot, with the way he's going? Him and Will Jordan seem to just have a skill of being able to score tries no matter when they are out there. And also from Katie Dixon there with another try going in favour of the French. And this is really increasing their points differential. The only way for France to miss out on making it through to the, winning the Six Nations So if they lose their game up against either Wales or England and also don't receive too many bonus points. But Pinot, it's a beautiful cross kick from Romain Intermac. Goes straight out to him. Saves it beautifully and scores the try. And now Damien Pinot actually up for a hat trick. Was Villiers last week or the week before was able to get himself that hat trick. Now Damien Pinot, the bright yellow mouthguard, that is of course paying homage to his side. They does play for in France, and that is, I believe he's a Clermont boy, if I'm not right, and could be 50 points if they got the kicks. And there says LV. So yeah, they will be a little bit disappointed with the kicking game from France, but overall, I mean, they've been looking pretty solid otherwise. Does Intermac, he misses that kick as well. So that's actually about 5 missed kicks here from France so far throughout this one. The Scottish-English border have many robbers stealing or reefing sheep, cattle, and women 300 years ago, says Eric there. So is that why it's called so is it the reefers? I Sherman always fancied France for the Six Nations after the autumn. Wales either win or finish fourth. So all normal there, says Ben. And also, sorry, I wore my French socks today. And there's Katie, but now continuing to drive their way forward. I was wondering why it went real quiet, but I realized I've got a little sound gauge and I turned it down. So that is normally how it would happen. Now a loose ball from Galfick who goes into touch. And also, yeah, the borders is where Scottish people, or sorry, Scottish rugby is big, but they just didn't want pro rugby, I guess, says a flesh. And although the sevens, Scotland back in the sevens, it's great to see them broken away from Great Britain and now as their individual selves. I'm looking forward to seeing them in action in 45 days. Sucks that we've got to wait 45 days for the next sevens competition, but once it is here, we are covering it on the channel. Also, we've got plenty of rugby, plenty of cricket, plenty of all sorts coming on the channel. That's going to be called as a penalty or a free kick, I believe it was, for jumping, early jump for that one. Taking a quick tap now for Ben White. Offloading it back across. And Scotland, can they get over the try line for the first time in the second half? Sione Tuipulotu now running his way forward. It looked like it was Gross who was a little bit slow getting back to his feet there. Firing it back across. Continuing George Turner. It's been stripped because of it. I believe France have been able to get this back. And also, you pronounce it Rivas. Hopefully I pronounced that. Not too badly. It's the pirates and cattle thieves from the Scottish borders. My ancestors were Reavers. One of them was killed by the King of Scotland as he had too big a war band. And there says Powerbot. Geez. History lesson there. I guess, like, that's the thing. I always, like, other than history, like at school, I didn't actually do history. We just did social studies, which is probably about as historic as it gets. For us, like, I don't know half this stuff. I feel like I should know more of it. And Rivers is right. Our great border teams are Kelso, Seaburg, hopefully I've said that correctly, Foresters and Farmers Beasts. And this is Eric. That's a fun name. Farmers Beasts in there. Wait, is it Farmers and Beasts? Oh, no, Foresters and Farmers and Beasts, I think that is, rather than Farmers Beasts. They've got some good names. They do have a competition, don't they, in Scotland? I wish they showed some of the games here in New Zealand so I could see the up-and-coming young Scottish players before they make it to the URC. Do Scots still get sent to Australia for stealing a loaf of bread? I wouldn't think so. I think that was probably a long time ago. At this stage, they get sent over to Australia to play rugby, and they have some very good games. And Sedborough, and they're okay. Sedborough, so you got to split it up a little bit. What did I say? Berg, didn't I? My pronunciations are all over the place. I think I've looked at too many countries, like kind of pronunciation of names. Six Nations player of the match there for Antoine Dupont. Being able to get himself the man of the match for this game. Probably fair enough for the French, but I would say if there was going to be a player of the match for the Scottish, it would have been Rory Darge at number 7. And also, no, I meant they are solid blokes. And there says Eric. Foresters and Farmers Beasts in there. Okay. I was going to say that's a sick name to have as a team. But also, will France feel sorry for us and give us a try, says Powerboy? I don't think so. I think they're feeling pretty ruthless at the moment, France. When I keep on increasing that points differential. And I mean, Scotland's just kicked the ball away, so it's not the best choice. I wouldn't have thought, but now Thomas Ramos kicking it back to them, so that's a little bit of luck for Scotland. Right, we have got a total of 45 seconds left till the end of this game, running straight sideways now. Blair King on, straight through, backing himself. He's like an Olympic sprinter. He's got Duan van der Merwe on the inside. Was it backwards? It might have been forwards, but it could be a try here. Depending on whether or not this one went backwards, they will be checking this one, but Duan van der Merwe might have just scored himself the try for Scotland. They're celebrating it. So I guess the answer is yes. France will give yourselves a try. Okay. They've taken it quick. Okay, they're not checking it. They've just kicked it over. And I think that's actually Piotr Malvaka just saying, are we not going to check that one? What's this close to forward? And then I'm going to have another look at it while we write in Van der Merwe. Blair King on brilliant run forward here. Duan van der Merwe with him. It's close. It's flat is what I will call it. But we will allow it. Van der Merwe scores the try there. And we will go like that. But that was in the 80th minute. They've still got time for one more kickoff. I believe that is because Scotland want to get themselves one more try, I guess, is the best thing that they can do here because they won't get themselves a bonus point. They also won't end up with anything else. Of course, Guru has the Sharks game on. Are you doing great, says Eric there. Thank you very much, mate. Usually appreciate you being here. This one, we've covered every game of the Six Nations, and we will be covering every single other game that has taken place. Currently, the Sharks, they're doing pretty nicely in their game at this current point in time. They are winning that game 21-0 up against Benetton. 5 back across now. It's going to be taken nicely inside of the 22 here for Scotland. They've got just a little bit more fight left in the tank by the looks of it. Loose ball. Last thing they want to do, though, is give France another try. And you don't want to go to the down the rabbit hole of the British and Irish Isles history. And Bobby has said just did. And then also too complacent from France. I said that in way too much of a French accent, didn't I? Stuart Hogg now going back across close to the touchline, trying to close out this game. France pop back up. Scotland look like this is going to be one of their best attacking phases possibly of the match. And too late, France. And there says power bite. Back across here once again. Just trying to get that points differential a little bit further down. Now Sione Tuipulotu goes through. Doesn't quite find the offload that he would have been after. Now going to the short side. It's Darcy Graham. Pierce in the gap. Ball on the inside. That is a knock on. So that will be the end of the game now. And that is going to be 36 points to 17 for the finish of this game. It was a good game of rugby. A lot of points being scored. But now we've got another game coming a little bit later. If it's converted, it stands. And there's power by, and also said about my Stormers, says they'll be definitely with it only being 2 points difference between those two sides. The big mistake for Scotland and Wales was going regional and gutting the club game. Wales are hurting, and we had so many great clubs in the borders. Now 2 teams. Says power bite there as well, but that is going to be the end of this game. They still haven't awarded the, there it is now. It has given them the 2 points. I think it happened that quickly that it got confused. But at halftime in the other game, Sharks are beating Benetton 21-0. Our next game that we are doing on the channel will be starting in 22 minutes' time, or the live stream will anyway, and then we've got another 15 minutes till the start of the game at 5:45 a.m. New Zealand time. A big oofiol. There says Katie Dixon. Next game, Wales taking on England. Should be an exciting contest. Should be a close one. And hopefully you guys will be tuning in for that one also. But thank you all very much for tuning into this live stream. And it's hugely appreciated you guys showing your support on these streams. And we have got plenty more coming for the Six Nations and also for Super Rugby, the URC, you name it, we are covering it on the channel. Come on, Wales, says Ben. And also thanks for the stream, Amish, says Katie. No worries at all. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I will see you all in about 20 minutes time for the next live stream. England taking on Wales.